Welcome to the Bucs. Welcome to the Bucs report. We are live, and this is the post-game show. How is everybody doing today? And I tell you what, we got a lot of stuff to unpack. This has been a game that, let's just say, there are unhappy faces, but there are also people who are happy. Mm. Mm. We're still celebrating, guys. We won a game. It is what it is. No one can take that away from us. Hey, I got to bring in my guy. I got Mr. AJ turning up in styling. He's styling, he's profiling, and he's probably had a shit ton of liquor. So let's bring this bad boy in. He's going to say his piece, as always. My bro host.
Yeah.
With the host.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting me join. We had a good practice here. We practiced that all day. We practiced this. We practiced it the way it was going to go. We practiced this. We practiced this way. Everything we had them right where we wanted them. And all we have to say for this win is, yeah. Oh, that shit is corny. Oh my gosh, hearing him say that.
I know, but you've got to have your own stick, haven't you? You can't copy someone else's thing. I get where you're going, but it's his own thing. You've got to lead that.
It's his own thing, all right. Yeah, that's been the problem this entire time he's been the coach. His own thing. But I'm not gonna be such a stick in the mud. Or the Buccaneers won. The Buccaneers are in first place, back to where they are. So
where they should be.
I am happy for the effort. I'm glad that the players didn't quit. We still have a lot of holes though that need to be done, that need to be worked on, and there's a lot of evaluation that still needs to occur because this game was far from perfect. This was literally almost a Bucs and Panthers game, but a lot more stressful.
Yeah, I mean, there's more connotations to this. What is it? The playoff implications go up to 58% if you win it, and it goes down to 8% if you lose it. So it was a really big game, and it seemed that fourth quarter was quite tumultuous. It would look like the Bucs were in control of that game until that touchdown went in, and you were like, "Oh, okay."
Yes.
I'm talking about the first touchdown in their first touchdown, so that kind of got them back into the game. That they have the pass interference call, which is nowhere near pass interference, and I don't believe in pass interference, but that was not even close to it. And it's like I do not know, and it kind of catapulted them in it. They started a bit. They were able. Everyone could start running the football a little bit more fluid. Now this is my gripes defensively are poor decision making. I actually didn't mind the play call. I could live with it. It was the decision making when making tackles, when fit in the run. That's what I didn't like. There was a bit of laziness, and to be honest, I'll say this: did you feel that the Buccaneers were missing the presence of Devin White? Honestly,
no, not at all.
I think the only thing you get from Devin White, and I'm going to be honest, and I've never coached the guy, but what he brings to the table on a week-to-week basis, I think we can tackle him. We know we can do this and we know we can do that. But from his actual presence that you miss is a big hitter when he does get his hits. Yeah, so when he does make a sack, he puts a quarterback on his ass and makes sure he knows about it. When he makes his big tackles behind the line of scrimmage, they are quite ugly. They're quite pretty. Ugly for them, pretty for us. Yes. But that's it. It's almost like he's like a firework. Big explosion. It's pretty. It looks good, and then it fades out again. And sometimes you don't get any more out of it. Whereas at linebacker, I kind of want technical tackles. I want my D linemen to play like that. My outside linebackers, if I'm running a 3-4, to play with that kind of like pop on the hit. I'm not worried. I want my inside linebackers just to get the guy down on the field.
Yes, agreed. The guy that I would give the cannon to today that fired them cannons on defense, I'm going to give it to McCollum. Zion McCollum played his best. He played his best game as a Buccaneer cornerback. He was precise. He was hitting. He was getting to the ball. He was making better reads.
He was making better tackles. Tackles used to be some of those things that I was a little bit like, ooh.
Yes. He actually, if Carlton Davis doesn't get that interception, Zion has. I still think Zion played a better game, but Carlton Davis, that pick was some fine, work.
His ability to read. I noticed this. He didn't do it just once. It was a couple of times. He comes to. They get clearly game planned for that screen play. You see this, Just come down and play it.
Yep.
We have I had a call in my. We had a team that loves a screen. They play bunch screen. So the two guy bunch trips. Two guys go out and block, and the other guy falls back and takes the ball. And I said, as soon as you see that, we have one guy press and two guys off at two different ranges. So one's probably about 5, the other one's about 4, the other one's about 6 to 8, between 6 and 8. And one guy presses. As soon as you see that guy turn his body, the guy who's pressing, all his job is to get through the line to get through and disrupt the play as much as possible.
Yes.
Whereas the others, because they also had a package where they would run the same shit. So he'd go to screen, but the two wide receivers, rather than hunt you down and get a block, they'd actually run routes.
Yes.
So it's kind of like they want you to come down and play it, right?
Right.
So I said we had what's called a screen crush. So if you heard crush, 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 that meant the guy who's on the line is going for the ball. So going for the screen guy. That means you just worry about the other guys. Get off. If they block you, you get off your blocks and you come down and play it. If they run routes, you effectively just cover them as you should.
No, I agree. My only gripe that I would just say that I had with the defense, to be quite honest, I just wanted to see more pressure. I wanted to see more man coverage. I wanted to see more in their faces. A lot of times when
you lost the presence of a Vita Vea, that was a huge difference to make. And we all, how many times we said how much he eats allows everyone else to eat. How much he takes up. So I think that's definitely why you probably don't see that. What you personally wanted to see where we're going after the team and like kind of kick the shit out.
Yeah, I wanted to see that because if you look at it, Ritter was trying to actually be a quarterback and he still failed at it. But when you give him more opportunities, it was giving the receivers more confidence. Because if we're quite honest, the Bucs secondary, when they were in man, they were taking care of business. The Falcons actually, they blew the game because they didn't stick to what they do best and run. They were trying to beat us with the pass, and Ritter is not that kind of guy.
What you wanted yesterday, you said, I want them to try and to be fair, Ritter did a decent job. I mean, if you look at his stats, it's not the end of the world. He completes 26 for 40, goes for 347, and he has a touchdown and a pick. He probably should have had another pick. He was very, very lucky that he bailed out with a very acrobatical play.
Oh, absolutely. That a lot of those plays, it almost on the last drive, it was almost deja vu when they were throwing deep down the middle, when they had the press cut. I wanted Bowles to be more aggressive, but we're not even worried about Bowles at this moment. He is who he is. The villain of today is Canales. Canales was the villain of today. This was by far the most atrocious play calling on offense I saw all damn game. I give him a D+. I gave Baker a D+. Baker had a bad game. Baker almost was ruining this game. The reason why I want to start with Canales.
He couldn't pass the fucking football, man.
He couldn't pass the football and the run. Now, people will say you have your Buck apologists for Canales or Bowles. Well, AJ, they had the runs. I said, again, we are always doing shit.
Is the thing. I completely agree. I agree with you. We had the run. That's great. But that's supposed to. What do we keep? Everyone keeps telling us. Oh, if you can run the football successfully, what can you do? Play action. Why didn't I see no play action? We're running the football successfully. We got a guy. Rashad White gets a buck 02, and he's rushing 4.1. Chase Edmonds is 5 average on a carry. So we're running he finished the day up with 8 for 40. So why are we not setting up play action passes?
Why weren't there rollouts? Why weren't there bootlegs? I agree. Where were the
bootleg rollout? Yeah.
Yes.
Play action rollout? Yeah.
Yes, there was none of that, and that's what was pissing me off when you were trying to. And Baker just had an awful day. This showed me everything. I'm rooting for Baker, but my faith of Baker has gone.
He's a likable dude. He's got the moxie. He's got attitude. He's got everything. I just don't know if he is. He's just not the guy. I don't think. I think he will be a guy who bounces around the league as a career backup for like the better part of a decade.
I agree, and the thing about
he'll have moments where he'll have moments where he'll go into games, or he may go to a failing franchise that hasn't got nobody, or they couldn't draft who they wanted, so they bring him in for a season, right?
Yes,
that's the kind of guy. Like Jameis Winston's the same dude. It's the same MO. The only difference is James Winston's more of a risk taker. What we've seen from Baker is he's lost that, and it makes him kind of lost a little bit of his edge.
Oh, not a little bit, a lot.
No, but you know what?
Canales shackled him today, and that's why I can't. Baker had a bad game. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. But this also goes into Canales. Canales has shown me everything that I need to see because of today. You have Evans, you have Godwin, you have Palmer, you have Otten. I saw a lot of plays. If you look at it, the Bucs in the passing game, they could have obliterated this Atlanta's defense. They made AJ Terrell look like he was a shutdown corner. And I told people, go back to the replays. If you looked at the replays on the game, Slick, Evans had separation. Evans was getting open. Baker didn't see it. Godwin was open, and he would throw it in. It's bad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There were a couple you can turn around and say it was on the receiver. There's more that you can say there's on the quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
The only thing I will give Canales for, he's been sticking to that run. And it's slow. But hey, it's starting to pay off. We're starting to see look at it. I'm gonna silver line it for you. I'm gonna sugarcoat it a little bit for you. Please do. This run can be continued to be established game on game, week on week for the last 4 weeks, and he can pick the passing back up to how it was, the Buccaneers can do some damage. But it has to be. You have to have consistency. You have to have consistency.
It's
almost like we've turned around and went, well, we're trading. We've now decided that we're trading the pass for the run. No, we can't be good at. We can't be good at both. We have to be really good at solid at. We can't be average. One thing you always said to me is just be average, right? Just be average.
Just be average.
I will give him in pressured situations like that fourth quarter. Canales came to life. That was the best coaching he did was in the fourth quarter. Everything else of that was just
But even with the run,
think about it. Most we scored was on one big running play. Can't give deep coordinators a shit ton of credit for big long run plays because they didn't create the big long run. They create the block to get them free, and then it's on the running back. I mean, you can argue the coaching to get what you do after you get free and the movements and stuff like that. That is part of the coaching. But what I'm saying is the scheme doesn't allow. There is no one schemes a guy for a 10-yard run because that just doesn't happen. Agreed. What you do is you scheme to get them through the initial gap, and then what coaching they've got after the fact from their vision, from their body movements, is able to turn it into more, to generate it into more, and whatever the defense does, right? So I will say the best football that Canales called was in that fourth quarter because the Buccaneers came to life on offense in that fourth quarter. Every time the game was on the line, they responded with points. Every time they scored, they responded with points. But the stuff in between, it was probably not worth talking about. There's a lot of filler.
Yeah, there was a lot of filler.
A lot of filler in this game. Think about it, the first touchdown comes from because Colton Davis gets the ball at the 9.
Yes. Yeah, and he read it perfectly. The fourth quarter play that really just had scratched my head was when he tried to run it again and we got in that fourth down. Now we were very fortunate and lucky because Rachaad White fumbles that ball, but he grabs it back and he's able to have possession, and the defensive guy tried to snatch it while he was down. But let's be honest, that was not a good
play. The other way.
It could have gone the other way and the game is over. What they should have done on that third down, a rollout. If I'm
honest, from offense, I don't want to ever see unless it's going to be a pass or a toss or something of that nature. I don't want to see them in the gun. I want under center because you can literally fall over and get a first fucking down.
I agree. Or if he did a rollout,
why do you think the push is so? I'm not saying we run that, but you can still run the what Brady's 1 yard thing, right? Which is akin to the tush push or whatever. It's a guaranteed yard. Why wouldn't you take the percentage of the high volume, the high success rate? No, what I'll do is I'm going to stand 5 yards fucking back from the line of scrimmage initially. Then I'm going to take the ball, catch it in my hands, and then hand it to a guy who's probably a yard behind me. So he's 6 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and we're going to net 7 yards. We're going to set 7 yards from the moment he touches the ball. That is just I've got a gun and I just want to keep shooting my feet going.
Yes.
I personally don't like it. It's not me. But we don't have any under center plays. I don't think I can't even think of moments where we've been under center. So I don't think it's in the playbook. But under center is designed for that kind of shit. That's what it's for. They know what's coming. Everyone knows when you're on first. It's fourth and one, third and one, and you are under center. They know what's coming. But it's a high percentage play. You take advantage of that. I didn't like the play call. There was two fourth downs in this game. What one of them got nullified.
One got stopped. It was embarrassing. It was fourth and two.
That should not happen. That should never ever happen. No.
The Bucs roll if they roll out again.
I like the fourth down call. I have no problem with the fourth down call. I didn't like the play selection. So when people were saying, "Oh, Bowles, we shouldn't be doing that," I was like, "Well, hang on. He doesn't get to select the play, but he could. That's some accountability thing." Yes. That I'm going around to my coach saying, "What the fuck are you running some sexy shit that you don't normally run?" Because it's a play that I don't think I've seen us play that often. No, why aren't we just fucking banging it straight down the middle? If we're going to do that kind of shit, just bang it straight down the middle or pass it and just get that high percentage pass, that 3-yard inbreaker or that 3-yard outbreaker. That 3-yard outbreaker, break someone's ankles and just see what we get out of it.
I wanted to go for
even a fucking design quarterback fucking run.
That's what I mean. If you do a bootleg rollout run,
you have a concept where you have like layers. So you have your dump off, your intermediate, your deep route, almost like a crosser, right?
Yes,
that's where you want to use a crosser, because if you can make it to the line of scrimmage, you're just falling over into it, right?
I agree, and
that's where I don't mind them using shotgun. But if you're gonna run a play, fucking run it from under center, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it wasn't clear, it wasn't crisp. Again, you can see the hesitance of Canales, but here's the real $1 million question. Was it at that point that Canales he had doubt in Baker? I was getting that kind of feeling that during the late third quarter, that maybe Canales is saying, you know what, this is too much for Baker. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on him, so let me run the ball so I can put his mind at ease. Because we've already seen it. Baker was so out of sync. Baker
really good. That's a really fair assessment. But then don't you call a simple run almost like a bully run where it's just this is where I think 2 backs does work. Getting 1 yard, 2 backs, heavy fullback. Is Kokeef still on the team?
Yes, he is.
Right, because he was on the team weeks 1 to 3, and I remember him cropping up because we were complaining that, well, why the hell are they throwing him the ball? And I get it, he was like a bit of a deception because he doesn't normally get the ball, but he's also not known for getting the ball and doing a lot with it. So this is where you use him in those situations where he's just I'm the guy in front of me. Can you imagine with a puller coming across on Tristan Wirf's side with an extra guy, a lead guy leading the charge, someone like a Kokeef? You're gonna get that 1 yard. Big massive humanity, just fucking going. Whoever it is, I'm just gonna point at him. You're dying tonight.
Yeah.
You better write your last will and testament right now, because we're coming for you. We're getting this 1 yard and it's coming through you. I am sorry, this is happening.
Agreed. It's so many things that could have happened today. I was also just looking for more spread. I was looking for more trips. I was looking to see Baker throw on the run more often instead of putting him into the pocket. And that's what was going on. He was flustered. He didn't know. He couldn't see. You said it the other night, Slick. I think when they ask him those type of questions, when it's a 2-yard slant, can you see that, Baker? To be quite honest, I don't think he can see. If you look at the way that he was throwing today, he couldn't see. And when they batted his pass down, that was another situation. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's hard for him to throw it with precision in the pocket. And that is all Canales did all game for the most part. You kept this man. He's not
a precision passer. He's not a precision passer that's going to dink it and dunk it up the field. It felt a little bit like they were trying to get Godwin the ball.
Yes.
After all what's been said and stuff. it's like they listen. They're listening to the media. I think they know it's kind of gets them off their back a little bit. And
oh well, he made the catch of the game. The catch of the game was Godwin when he snagged that shit and ran up. I was like, okay. Thank you, Mariah Godwin, for your help. Mariah Godwin is the MVP on offense today because she had Godwin humming. Godwin was doing the damn thing, and for one of the first times in a long time, and I could be reaching
MVW, most valuable woman.
Yes, right. And I'll say this: I think Evans, for the first time I've seen him, was actually frustrated with Baker. Like you've seen where Evans will kind of be like, Brady, what the fuck?
He's got a very good his face of like, if it's okay, if I see Mike Evans and it's a ball that he knows he should have had and he should have caught it, he's kind of like looking down and he's like,
yep.
And if it's a ball that is just way out there and he can't catch it, he kind of goes like this.
Exactly. Yes.
Every time, and you can see he's just like, oh
yes. And when he doesn't want to show that he's pissed at the quarterback, it's that upper lip is like, it's a what the fuck Baker. He was a what? I think it was a lot of what the fuck Bakers today because, again, I just didn't understand. I was ready to pull him, to be honest, in the third quarter. I wanted to see what Trask was like because at this point, Slick, you've said it. It's not like the Falcons knew anything about Trask. They don't have him on film. They don't know.
The problem is the division. It's the win. It's the
yes,
win.
I know they want the.
I get what you say, and they probably feel. It's that kind of like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't kind of moment. So it's kind of tough because we can guarantee you, AJ, if they put Trask in and he's a fucking dumpster fire, everyone's going, why the fuck did you do that? The division was on the line. You're never going to make everybody happy, and that's you. And you've got to make your peace with that. You've got to make your peace with the fact, like, if I'm a coach, I know I'm never going to make, like, we don't have like proper fans. We don't have like hundreds of thousands, like thousands of people turn up to our games. We get like a couple of men and their dog, and everyone's wives and girlfriends turn up, and their kids and what have you, and a few avid fans and what have you, or people who have been a part of the team and no longer part of the team, or local people around the thing. So we probably get a good 200 people turn to the game. It's not a lot of people at all. I couldn't give a fucking rat's ass of what any of them thought of me and the way I coach. I couldn't give a fuck because I'm not here for that. I got my stuff to do, and I've got to focus on mine anyway. So,
of course,
but that's the thing. And the problem is, once you start listening to fans, then you're kind of almost giving yourself towards what they want anyway. So, you got to be true to yourself, but you've also got to be. They obviously must not, and I say this. They must not believe in Trask at all. And the problem, I always think that preseason games is not a good sample size because it's the sample size that me and you get to see, right? We get to see, unless you're one of those people who's at the camp all the time. I tell you what, I'd love to pick JC Allen's brain about this. Yes. I'd love to ask JC Allen and say, do you think Trask is capable from what you've seen? Because he's obviously around a lot more practice. He's around a lot more this and a lot more that. So he can probably give a better assessment. Because we're going off preseason games. There are guys on preseason games that have like 2-sack games or they have a double touchdown game in that final preseason game. Like, there's no way this motherfucker is going. And then they're cut. And you're like, what? He had a great preseason. Had a great preseason games. But he might have been trash in practice.
Yes.
Or nowhere near as good. Or unable to do multiple roles. There's so many things.
Yeah. And if they don't believe in him, but at this point though, I look at it like this: do I take the coaching serious? What we just saw today with Canales, maybe you just don't know what you're working with and you don't know how to do it. At the same time,
it's very possible, but that's the situation you're in. That's not going to change tomorrow.
I know, but that's why when fans say that shit, though, I just go, wait a minute. This is where I'm not talking as a Buccaneers fan. I'm talking about as a fan of the game of football. For someone who has been around it and coached it, I have seen where I've gotten arguments with some of my coaches, Slick, when I used to go to practices, and I see what they're trying to do, and I'm sitting here like, that makes no fucking sense, coach. What you're asking of this guy is ridiculous. You want him to throw pinpoint passes. That's not what this kid can do. You are being unrealistic, and this other guy.
There are two types of coaches I find.
Yeah.
If you in the thought process that you're in, there's the guy who has his scheme and adjusts it to suit the players, because you every coach has something. Like if someone said to me, Steve, you're going to be Slick, you're going to be we want you to be the defensive coordinator of our team, I will probably run something akin to a cover two. My base cover, I'll probably be a four down lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably be 4-2-5, 2 read, and then my other coverages will be cover 4 and cover 2, and variations of cover 2 with cover 2 man under in it, and that would be my thing. And I would blitz out of the whole fucking shebang, because that's just who I am, which is slightly different to what I coach now, but not entirely different, because I've learned the two read is what I take from where I currently am and some of the simulated pressures that we have. Yes. And then when I was at the Knights, when I was the defensive coordinator there's stuff that I've taken from there, and there's my own defense that I actually created, which is 1 high cover 2. So the corners become the 2 deep droppers, and the safety plays down in the middle. And I blitz out of that, and everyone says that is the most honestly, and I shit you not, people said to me, that's really exotic football, Slick, and I'm like, I don't look at it like that, because I know at our level, the quarterbacks don't have the arms to throw deep, so I don't need to play cover 3. So why not have extra guys down in the shallow zones?
Yes. Agreed.
Where now I can blitz more people, because I've got more shot. If I've got, so we got corner. So now I've got a safety that's going to play down the middle hole. I got 2 hook seam curl route droppers, and I got 2 flat droppers. I can blitz one of those and still have 4. The middle hole will become a hook seam curl. Let's say I blitz a hook seam curl, so I can go what is effectively America's fire zone, but only have 2 deep.
Yeah,
because I don't believe that the guys are going to throw any deep. And I also have rules in my coverage. So everyone's like, oh, but what if you get 4 verts? It's fine. If I get 4 verts, my hook seam curl guy is just going to carry the route. So as soon as he identifies that the guy is trying to blaze past him, because you can feel it. You can see a guy if he's making that speed. So then you blaze with him. So it ends up becoming cover 4. It's that fucking simple.
It's very simple. I agree.
I exotic and wild for doing it, because it's not cover 3.
Right, but the thing is, you know what you're doing, and that is another thing is too. Bowles is he's always, him and Canales have this mindset where if they think they keep it close, they have a shot. When essentially it's the opposite. You're putting your team in bigger risk of losing.
It's so critical to make every play when you're playing that tight. Yeah, because you're playing the percentage of not losing. So you're looking at it from all right, if we're up by 3 points or more, we have a high percentage chance of winning this game. But you put so much stress on your defense to go, right, at this point, you can't give fuck all up.
Exactly.
If you're aggressive, especially from an offensive point, you can make that pattern. It's like, okay, now we can take a few risks. And this is the beauty of it, because now you don't have to play so conservative. If you've got an offense that's humming, I'd probably be more exotic with my blitzers, and I'd probably take a few more gambles, because I know I can. And then in the fourth quarter, then I play super conservative, because I don't need to. I've got the stats. Sorry, I've got the score padded already for me, so I'm up by 10. Now I can play conservative, because you're not going to get fucking through it. I can play prevent because I'm up by 10, or I'm up by whatever. But if I'm only up by 3, I can't play prevent, because I need to be careful.
Ding, ding, ding. Ben, you said it. Bowles plays not to lose rather than play to win. Exactly. I'll tell you exactly where it was at. And Slick called it. But do you know what pissed me off, where I was like, they don't want to dominate, is when we got to safety. First of all, Antoine Winfield is
criminal that he is not in the top 10 of Pro Bowl voting. It's disgusting.
It's disrespectful. He is the best safety in football right now. I don't give a shit what nobody says. I'd
be nice and say he's top 3.
Top 3, but at this point he's playing at number 1, and this is what. But here's my point.
I agree with you, but with an argument can be made for that guy.
Yeah. But right now, top 3.
Top 3. No one can dispute that he's a top 3 safety. He is playing light fucking out. He has I think it's 3 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles, 2 picks, and then about 9 passes defensed.
Doesn't he have like 5 sacks? 5 to 6
3.
sacks?
I have to pull it up.
But here's my issue too. They get the safety, right? Then they kick the ball. Then what does the offense do? What does Canales like to do? Go back to the shitty sputtering of running the ball instead of trying to take the deep shots. Slick, hey guys, you got to watch Coach Slick in the way that he assessed the game. He describes in a nutshell and articulates what type of team we have. The Bucs are not the type of team that can come back all the time when they're down, or if they
not with the offense. The defense can play like that, and I think it would work if you had a high flying offense. You can be exactly what Coach Bowles wants it to be if you're scoring not at will. Like, let's say you're scoring 24 points a game. If the Buccaneers scored 24 points a game on average, that was their average. They're already in the playoffs. We wouldn't even be talking about them scraping into the playoffs, or they'd already have a winning record.
Agreed.
And I think he's hoping that he can get that out of it, but it's just not coming into fruition.
No, he can't. And look, remember, this is a guy also who is only playing with a handful of people because of salary issues. Now, with that being said, wink, wink, why the fuck are you out here doing dumb shit when you don't have the personnel to do what you want to do? That makes no sense. You were right. When we were under Bruce Arians, we had a high-powered offense where we could take risks because they could score at will. Let's just be real. 2021, the Bucs could score at will. Whenever they fucking felt like it, they could score.
Crazy
good. We were ridiculous. But that's when the defense could have a bad day. Right now, your defense cannot have a bad day. Your defense was out without Vita Vea, which showed, and yet you don't want – Canales did not want to take over on offense. Before the end of the half, I don't know. Remember Brady, and before the end of the half, he always took those deep ass shots, or we would go down, we would try to march down the field. There was no urgency today. The Bucs, honestly, another reason we didn't.
I know. I felt they were. I felt in the fourth quarter they came alive in my opinion.
But it was like for whatever reason it's too late
of that game. If you wanted to see the Bucs played, go to when they scored their last 2 touchdowns of that in the fourth quarter, because that's when the game got fun and exciting from a viewer's standpoint, not from our standpoint, because we're stressed because it's tight. We're going down. The rest of it was just kind of like fodder. It was just like filler, because we hadn't done anything on offense. We haven't driven. Like, imagine you are like, so we go into halftime. I believe we have the lead at that point, so that's always good.
Yes.
But most of our points came from really short fields and field goals. So it's not like we're driving the ball at will. We're not controlling the game. We've got, I wouldn't say lucky, because picks aren't lucky, but we've gained what we've gained because we took the ball with short fields.
Yes,
and then they conversely has done. It's 12-10, wasn't it, going into the halftime?
12-10. We were only up by 2 points.
12-10 because of the safety. So you've literally, let's face it, if it weren't for the pick that sets up the touchdown and then the safety, you can literally wipe 9 points off the board.
Chemo misses. If he makes those field goals, the Bucs lose today.
That's just an incompleted pass, and it never turns into an interception. This game could be completely different. So the defense, and this is why I'm not being critical of Bowles, because his defense did things to keep them in the game. However, their field goal kicker couldn't kick for shit, so that always helps.
That was 6 points.
And to be fair, he is a good field goal kicker. So
very good field goal kicker.
Yeah. I think once you start kicking outside the 50, that's where the percentages go down of nailing it. And that's why kickers that can do those stick around the league for a very long time, because you are bread and butter. You are money, literally money. Mm-hmm. When you start to struggle with those, that's when you look at us. We had a great field goal kicker, but he couldn't kick outside of 45 yards because he couldn't do it. Almost automatic inside it. But now we feel. I feel like we've got a good. I'm really pleased with the kicker that we got right now.
Oh yeah, no, he's solid. He is solid.
Great special teams.
And that is another. Yeah, and that's why I was telling people this is the Atlanta Falcons. Buck fans are giving me shit about Manuel to win. That's right, but it's not this is a bad team. There were two bad teams that played today, but the Bucs, again, you play to the level of your competition. Now, do I feel good that we won? Absolutely. Fuck the Falcons. And I hope to get back on and talk to the other guys who are Falcon fans. I want them to because we did.
How did that go? I didn't get a chance to watch it, bro.
Oh, it was nice. They were saying, if anything, everything that we thought the Falcons were going to do, they did the opposite. Remember, they tried to make Ritter beat.
They wanted to run the football because teams have had success running the football against us.
Yeah, and it didn't work this way. I told people, despite with the Bijan Robinson thing, I was impressed that the Bucs defense was shutting down the run.
Ritter only came alive in the fourth quarter, didn't it?
Exactly.
Their run came alive in the fourth quarter.
Ritter's a bad quarterback, and I love it. When I saw how he would throw certain passes, I'm like, oh God, if he was average, the Bucs lose today, hands down. But he wasn't average. He had an average moment, but for the most part, Ritter was not good either. But the biggest story to me is just the offense. The offense, I said this after week 10 or 11, I said that I thought this offense would kick it into a higher gear. And
that's what we need to see. Now, talking about this offense, run's been the problem. I wouldn't say it's fixed because it's not fixed until you go up against an opposition. And luckily for the Bucs, they only have two people that are, well, okay, now the Saints as well. You can put Saints in that. So 3 of those teams are going to either break even or have a losing record or a winning record. We don't know what's going to happen next week and the next week and the next week. So we got, is it Green Bay next?
We got Green Bay next. And the funny thing is, despite that, I feel good about that. I feel good for whatever reason. I feel good about going into Green Bay because I told you last time the Bucs win. Now you can go in there. You're on a 2-game winning streak. Now you can start 3. Yeah, now you can fix things. Now the Bucs are in they're the biggest thing that the Bucs are happy about. They are in control of their destiny. Now the Bucs don't really have to rely necessarily on everybody else losing. Now we control our own destiny. You go into Green Bay and win. Cool. You lose to Jaguars. That's no shame. No shame. We gotta win one of those.
How do you say that word?
There's no shame.
No. That team.
Who, the Packers? Jaguars.
I love the way you say that word. You Americans say that word. We say Jaguars.
Oh, Jaguars. Yeah, Jaguars. We the
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Yes. But they're gonna be the jack off.
Good guy.
But you go in there. If you look, it's now. I want to ask you this, and I want to ask from a percentage. And fans, you guys can jump in on this too. If you had to do this, because we're there at this time. If you had to go a percentage wise, give me a percentage of the Bucs running the table, losing 1 game, and losing 2 games. Give me your percentage. Running the table.
Okay.
You're a mathematician. You're a man of math.
I'm telling you, there's 100% chance we are not running the table. I'd love it. I just don't see it. I just don't. Okay, let's be realistic. I'll be nice, and I would say there's an 80% chance that we don't run the table.
Okay.
I'm really thinking about this because I don't want to. Because when you think of percentages, it kind of gets your brain going a bit more. I'd say there's a 75% chance that we will lose 1 game. And here's the flip. There's a 50% chance that we lose 2. Okay. It is that tight, I believe. We haven't shown anything that we're above anybody, and everyone we're playing is kind of at our level.
Yes.
So every game is going to be almost like a playoff game. In the set, not just because of the connotations, you're going up against the same kind of opposition until you play the Panthers, right? And the Panthers could be the trap game because you might have already sealed the season, right?
Right.
Because if you go, let's say for the sake of argument, you win against the Packers. So let's say you lose against the Packers, you win against the Saints and the Saints and the Jags. Yeah. And then you lose to the Panthers just because, but you've already nailed your division, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a very there's a very high possibility that we could lose. It's still a good possibility that we can lose too, just because it all depends on what you see. Yes. We saw the Buccaneers last year when they knew they were safe, they played safe. And I don't foresee that changing because there's almost like a lack of effort. I don't need to win this game, so I'm not going to. Or the coach is like, we don't need to win this game. Let's start resting players. And we know that didn't pay off last time. We know that doesn't pay off. But it's going to be interesting. There's also the fact that we've been that team that's ruined a season. Well, I won't say ruined a season, but we've been that team where it can change a playoff seeding or whatever. And the thing is, we're not even out of the wild card yet. When they showed the thing up, everyone in the wild card has got the same thing as us as well. So it's like we're really not that out of the playoffs at all. The only thing is, it's like we've got a guarantee. If we can win the division, we pretty much got it made.
Yeah, we would be the 4th seed, right? If we win the division, we'd be the 4th seed. And now that is interesting. Who would we play? Would we play the
Dallas?
7th? We play Dallas
again.
See, and this is why Buck fans, your boy AJ Turnup is not on that level of, yeah, guys, we won. It's like, yeah, I'm like, we won. I'm content. I'm happy. Fuck Atlanta. But at the end of the day, we're not going to be playing these Atlanta type teams in the playoffs. We need to have, I think, more of a sense of, hey guys, Canales needs to just.
No, I just want to answer that to Ben. That is not broken English for jacking off. We use the word wank.
Wanker. Yeah, I've heard y'all say that before. Wanker is funny as shit.
Wanker is somebody who spends a lot of time eating.
I like. Look, you know what? Bowles is a wanker because he's just it's like, damn it. Because you know why? He's jerking the Buck fans' emotions. He's playing with our emotions. He is.
I think any coach would, though. To be fair, I mean, at the moment we're just not that good.
No, we're not that good. But the thing is, the Bucs still, with the right coach, the Bucs could be an average team. They're just not putting their players in the right.
I mean, technically, we're kind of average now, dude.
Maybe I like this. I like this.
The main problem with playing not to lose is winning games like that just because it covers its flaws until the next game. Yeah, absolutely. This team needs a clearing streak. That's a
Ben, get your ass on here, Ben. Ben, get on here. We need you to talk like this because Ben, you're right. This is why you don't play to lose, or you don't play. You are absolutely right, Ben. That's why for me, the joy wasn't there because a killer instinct team. A coach with a killer instinct mind would have blown this Falcons team out the door. A killer instinct coach, when you go into Green Bay, it's a tall order, but the Green Bay Packers they're not special either. They're not special. Let's be real.
I mean, we're playing against a lot of teams that are as good as us, or good as us, or slightly, you could argue slightly better or slightly worse.
Exactly.
So at least those free game slate that you got coming up, right?
Exactly.
I mean, technically, the Jags are the toughest team out of the lot.
Exactly, the Jags are the toughest team, and the thing is, you lose against that.
If you win those 2 games,
yeah, it doesn't affect. Yeah,
it all. You can look at the Jags game and go, wow, it was a blip. It all comes down to what the Saints do as well. So we got to get. I don't know who the Saints have got next week.
I'm not worried about the Saints. The Saints are ass, and the reason why I say that because Carr can't stay healthy. They're frustrated. They're flustered. They're So that's why I'm not really worried about the Saints anymore. The funny thing is, the Saints, I feel like, are what we were back in 2014.
The only difference is the Saints could actually beat the shit out of the Panthers, whereas we kind of cuddled them.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. I'm like, they may be third in the division, but when they come to a beatdown, they'll give a beatdown. Whereas when we get to a beatdown, we go, that's okay.
Right. But again, that's all about the killer instinct. And I think if you can, because I'll fuck it up. But let's try to send our buddy Ben a link so he can get in here and have his talk.
I forgot that he needs links. I had no idea. Give me a moment. I'll have a little sneak for it.
Take your time.
Give me your thoughts on
running the table.
Run it. Yeah, give me your percentages. Yeah, I ain't giving you no percentages yet.
Oh yeah, if our percentage of running the table is 10%. 10%, maybe. And the reason why I say that because injuries happen in this game all the time in this league. I say it like this: going into Green Bay, if Vita was a game time decision and he could have played, but they said we have enough to where we can win today, that makes me feel so much better because I want Vita rested. I think a Vita rested going into Green Bay is a major thing for this Bucs team. So he goes in there a healthy, more relaxed Vita, and everybody else is getting back to normal. You could beat Green Bay. I don't see Green Bay as the biggest obstacle. You beat the Jaguars, that's something else. And if now we got to remember, if Trevor Lawrence is healthy, that's a whole nother story. But if you beat him, but yeah, more than likely, if we were to drop a game, I think it would be to the Jaguars. Everyone else, I don't think so. I have to say this: if the Saints lose next week, I think the Bucs will.
Saints have got Giants, which doesn't fill me with a lot of hope.
It's a 50-50 to be quite honest.
But they got the Rams, who do have that can cause problems.
The Rams are with their ass.
They got us, and then they got the Falcons. So I would say for them, there's no the easiest game for them is probably the Giants.
Right, and that's still going to be a 50-50. I can see the Saints dropping 2 games, the Rams and the Bucs, and then they're done after that.
Yeah, but I think that's what we need to do is match whoever's in our division. It doesn't matter. We're top of the division right now.
Yes.
Right. So all we have to do is beat the Saints and match everyone else, and we've won the division guaranteed.
And Slick, this is why I do think the Bucs, if they were to play the Panthers the last game, let's say, and I hope this is going to be a win for us, Slick. If the Bucs wrap up the playoffs by week 15 or some shit like that, you guess who gets to come in now because Bowles will be playing it safe. Our buddy Trask can come in there, and he might come in there and light shit up. At that point, if he goes in there and light things up, now you can see what can happen. For all we know, Trask might come in there and actually be some good, and the offense can get going. So you're right, Slick. In a way, I want the Bucs to wrap this shit up.
Jags lost to a backup, third string, fourth string, sixth string quarterback today. So
I rest my case. So it's not.
It's on, boys. It's on.
Exactly.
The race is on. I had a chat with my head coach of my team, the Samuel Steelers, is a Saints fan. So we had our coach's meal because we hadn't had a chance to catch up with each other. And we met up, and he's like, "Do you even care that we win the division?" I was like, "Of course I do." He goes, "Honestly, if we win it with a losing record, I really don't give a shit. Just give it to someone else." I was like, I want it. I want fucking everything I can get. I was like, dude, you've been a Saints fan since they've had their coach and they've had Drew Brees. Is that a fair assessment? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so you've had years of success. I don't give a fuck about anyone's feelings or that we're not deserving, that we have a losing record and we win the division. I don't give a fuck. I get a banner, I get a cap, and I can put that cap. What I've decided to do since I've become a Bucs fan is every time we win something, I'm getting the cap and I'm sticking it in my wall of fame.
That's
and I'm going to keep doing that. So I don't give a fuck if we did it on a two-win record. I know that's physically impossible, but my point being is I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
You celebrate the hard work that your team put in. If it didn't yield the results that you wanted, you still won a division. You still were the best team out of your group.
Exactly. And we got our man right here sipping on that Cavassier. What's up, Ben?
Yeah, I haven't seen Ben in
ages. First of all, that hat is fire. Let me get that hat up off you. Let me get that hat up off you.
No. Yours is better, man. Look at that. It's just got the logo. It's just
that's that throwback. That's that throwback mess. Look, man. Look, Ben. You was out here talking that good stuff, man. Look, give me your if you were a teacher right now, you had to grade the coaching staff, the players. Give me your grade. Teacher Ben, Mr. Ben, how did they do today?
Well, fellas, as far as the teaching goes, I'd probably give it a D-.
I'm with you. I'm already there.
Let's be honest. I mean, the coaching. Yeah, no, seriously, it is. It's Todd Bowles. I mean,
That's all we
sir,
can
I
do.
don't know what to say, man. 5 targets today for Mike Evans. Was it 5 or 6 targets?
5. It was 5. I think it was 5 targets.
He had 1 catch.
Yep.
It could have been 2 if he would have kept his. Unfortunately, he had his hand on the white chalk before, or it would have been a touchdown. It would have been over with. Yeah, that's a shame too. That's really a shame because that was a great.
But that being said, the sample size, and this is you make a valid point here. So Mike Evans. Let me have a look. I'm just looking at it now.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah, I think he has 5 receptions and one grab, but he only threw the ball 29 times. So it's not from the sample size. Like it should still be higher than that. I agree. Yeah. Let's face it, this game was White's game. They just kept on it any way they could find White, and he is the offense. And I don't like it because it makes you so one-dimensional.
Yeah, and listen, I know I keep saying run the ball and keep running the ball, but let's be honest here. Look at the Falcons team, though. Didn't they have a couple defensive linemen go out of the game?
Yes, they did.
So it made it a little bit easier for offensive line to create holes for Devin. Or I'm sorry,
I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, the offense has been trending up on the run for the last few weeks. So it's not like I completely agree with what you're saying, Ben, because when your starting D-line members go out, it does make it easier to open up holes and have that run game, right? But the fact that you're seeing this trend upwards is a good thing. For me, I just thought it was like, well, why are we now not balanced? We've got this run game. Why are we not taking advantage of the things that's supposed to come with the run game, which is play action, which is they're no longer they're having to load the box, and now the rest of the things wide open.
So no, I get it. Like
that's what frustrates me.
He was covered pretty good there. I'll give the Falcons defense to cover Evans and stuff. They did a pretty decent job, but there were plays. AJ, I put in the message like,
yes,
he had a slant, first down. Right there. You could have a first down. Then you had to punt the ball.
Evans was getting separation, Ben, and he was getting great separation. Baker just didn't see it, and that's what we were frustrated. I said, if you go back and look at it, Slick, AJ Terrell thinks he did something. It's like, no. If it was a Brady quarterback in here, Evans would have had at least 110 yards because he was getting separation. Terrell was trying to jam him, but when the thing was, Baker just doesn't see him. And I honestly think it's a height situation, Slick. Like we've said it, he legitimately, I don't think when it comes to Baker, he cannot see. He cannot see it.
Do you think the reason he goes to Mike Evans when he runs deep routes is because he can see him?
He just knows that Evans is there, so he'll toss that, and it's in a way, you know who Baker is? He's Jake Delhomme right now, and Mike Evans is Steve Smith. Delhomme would launch that shit in the air, and just hope to God that Steve would bail him out. In a way, that is what I think Baker just he had no kind of sync today, no poise. I
get what you're saying. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
But wasn't Drew Brees the same height as Baker Mayfield, though? He could still see his receivers down.
Well,
there.
Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame guy, and he can
assess.
But
I don't think the height is so much.
Basically, he's trying to say that the height shouldn't make a difference. If you've got two guys that's 6 foot, they can see what the same thing. They can see the same shit.
I just think the problem is, I think I don't know if it's just me, but maybe he doesn't want to give his hand and tip his hand that he's going to automatically just go to Evans. I don't know. I don't know. Is it the play call? Is it Canales? Maybe it's Canales saying, you know what, dude? That's number 13, man. Just get him the ball. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just get it to him. He'll make the plays. He'll get, at worst, you can get an interference call. Mike draws a lot of flags.
He does. I would love to. That is a stat that I think needs to be put in, not as as an immeasurable, but maybe so. But if you can turn around and say, okay, Mike Evans has got this many yards, but on top of that, pass interference calls called against DBs guarding Mike Evans is this, because you think of the Brady era, it was insane the amount of times people got flagged because they were gripping a hold of him. And I'm half expecting two guys to be holding on to him at all times just because shits and gigs.
Agreed. I just think with this situation, though,
Drew Brees is 2 centimeters shorter than thing. So,
well, there you go.
What is he? 6'1"? I think he's
I'm
like
just looking at it. It came up with a metric of height, meters and centimeters. So he's what I can find out the footage if you really want that. I just him up. 2 centimeters is a metric that's probably you wouldn't see because it's going to be like a quarter of an inch or something like that.
Yeah,
so they might not put it, so they might just round it off and say he's a 6 foot quarterback, and Baker Mayfield might also be a 6 foot quarterback because 2 centimeters doesn't register as shit.
Right, and I just think when it comes to assessing, we know that Baker is not a Brady or a Peyton Manning that's type, and that's to be, that's not fair comparison. But Baker doesn't read the progressions as well as typical other quarterbacks can. So that's why if you're going to put him in the pocket, Canales, you need to make him already know his first option immediately. Get Baker the ball out so he can get it out quicker and stop having him.
He should know at this point in time. If he doesn't know, then he'll be handling the quarterback.
I don't think he does. That's my thing. I don't think he does know, and it shows. The only reason we're not cursing him now is because we won the game.
Baker Mayfield is listed as 6'1".
Yeah. 6'1".
I don't know how 2 centimeters is an inch, but hey, whatever floats your boat. I'm pretty sure if you turn around and said your member is 20 centimeters, it does not compute to having a 10-inch cock. But hey,
hey, look, man. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
10 centimeters is like that fucking big. You know what I'm saying?
We're using the American metric system or the British metric system here?
I'm just right. Okay, so they have him listed as 185 centimeters, right? They have Drew Brees listed as 183, right? But in footage, one's 6'1" and the other one is 6 foot. So that's basically saying 2 centimeters is an inch, and that's not true.
No, that's not.
By the way,
close to 3.5.
Shows, everybody, real quick, when I'm on people's shows, the talking does get a little weirder. So, I'll take the blame for that.
Hey, we just love you for it. So.
Oh, here he goes, the man with the budget plan.
I can head out of here and you guys can finish talking. I didn't mean to hop right in. You know how that goes.
No, you always pop. Rick, your family.
Rick, we want to hear this budget plan. Shit, 75% up the, look, this is another thing, Ben. Do good coaches bring out the best of the players, or does it take, because you got coaches that were good, but it's like you were only good when you had a roster. Then you got coaches that know how to bring the best out regardless.
Okay, well, I can answer that by being naughty, but I'll let Ben get into this. Go on, Ben.
No, I mean, coaching does matter in this league. And if you're looking at the records of Todd Bowles throughout his coaching career, you can see he's not a very good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator.
That's right.
He's not a great head coach. The numbers don't lie.
The only thing I would say to that is you're talking about him as the coach of the New York Jets. Name the last coach that was. Hold on. Name the last guy who was good coaching the Jets. Okay, and then the other thing is, great, he becomes head coach of the Bucs, which, by the way, they now have the same record that they had during Brady's last year. Okay, now they have $75 million, which I talked about, dead cap space money, and they still have the same record. If they won in the next 2 games, they are probably ending this season with a winning record. And not only that, if you look at what the standings are, they're not just in the hunt to win the division. They are still they are solidly in a wild card position. They are number 7 in the NFC right now, flat out number 7.
Well, I have a 4-syllable word for that: mediocre. That's what it is. It's mediocre.
And that's fine, but they're in a rebuilding year. When you're complaining about style points on your victories, that's a good position to be in that a lot of teams would kill for.
Didn't Bo say we're not rebuilding, we're resetting?
Of course he's going to say that. Come on, man.
Well, look, here's the thing. It's either, this is another thing about bowls. Where the more lies. There are more lies. Either you got it or you don't. If you are rebuilding, just say that shit.
No,
don't sugarcoat it.
There's money involved, dude. There's money involved. You can't say that.
There's not just that. What did Mike Evans say when Dave Canales came to town? Does anyone remember? This is the most wide open I've ever played. Please. He's been more wide open. It's just preseason speak that people say, oh, love this offensive coordinator. He's really selling me. If you asked Levante David during the Mike Smith era, he would have said he was a really refreshing mind.
Well, hold on. This is wide open for Mike Evans. He's on pace, other than today. Before today, he was on pace for his best season ever. Okay, or basically tied with his best season ever. So for Mike Evans, this season has been wide open. He's way ahead of where he was with Brady.
You can say that. You could say that, but at the same time, again, for what we are dealing with, and Ben can attest to this, and just like a lot of fans, we are happy that we're happy for a win, but we want to see if this team can take it to the next level by playing good teams. Right now, I don't want to see the Bucs playing fucking Dallas. I don't want to see the Bucs playing the Philadelphia Eagles or the Niners. Hell, Detroit. If we go into the playoffs with this type of game plan, the way that we're doing, we're going to get embarrassed.
They just played the Niners and didn't get embarrassed. Stop it.
Right. I get that, but the playoffs is a whole different animal, and you know that. Everybody knows that. First of all, that run shit is going to get snuffed out from us with the quickness. There's nobody in the playoffs that we're going to be running on. Ben,
you're finding ways to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. We've won 3 out of the last 5. The 2 games we lost, we barely lost. The team's been improving. They're not only now win one of the next 2 games, you probably have a winning record. Stop it, man. There's signs that this team is improving despite the situation they're in.
I mean, he's right. I mean, technically, if they win 3 games, they're a 9-18.
No, guys, listen. We're not complaining about them. We're not going to apologize for the wins here. Of course, it's great. It's just, it just doesn't look great. Can you say right now, Rick, you can go into the playoffs and beat a Dallas? Can you say that right now?
Of course not. I'm not going to say that. Of course not. But I'm realistic enough. This is what happens. Everybody who complains thinks they're the realist. Okay, I'm sitting here saying we're rebuilding. I understand this is a year where we don't have, we don't have a full complement of, on the roster that we could have. Imagine $75 million more on this roster. Okay, where would we be? All right, you're in a situation where
you're not using JTS fucking doing stupid plays where he's trying to grab at people's fucking ankles.
Oh, he just played his way out of Tampa today. After that,
absolutely, he's done. He's done. Yeah, Ben, great point. JTS played his way out of Tampa, and he should be, because that was disgusting football. But here's another thing too that we don't want to see. Like, and you can attest to this. If we need to know what direction we're going. This is why I like when coaches are more upfront. Because let's say that what we don't want to do is be stuck in limbo. Let's say if the Buccaneers get into the playoffs, but one, we've never seen Trask. We get rid of Trask, and he goes somewhere else and shines. Now you got to draft a quarterback, and then you still got to get other pieces left. Now all of a sudden, if we would have evaluated Trask like we were supposed to, he could have stayed, and we could have picked better. We could have done a lot more. The draft is a guess. But the issue is too, the Bucs, where's the direction that Bowles wants to go?
Do you want to go to the playoffs, or do you want to evaluate talent?
I want to go to the playoffs and evaluate the talent.
I mean, I want to win the lottery too.
But this is what coaching is about. We've all seen it. We got to be real. We've seen Baker's peak. Now, again, it's not all his fault.
I don't think they're going to take a risk on an experiment this late in the season when it could be won, even with Baker.
We just took the lead in the division. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's great, but we won 3 out of the last 5. So, I mean, if you're going to sit here and say, "Oh my God, let's just start tinkering with it and trying and seeing how this guy does and that guy does," then you don't take the lead in the division. Listen, man, you get into the playoffs. That's really, listen, part one, get into the playoffs. God knows, any given Sunday. Maybe we win one game because, you don't, here's the thing. Here's what you don't know. You don't know if Dak Prescott gets hurt. You don't know if, what can happen. You have no idea. Get into the dance and then just wait and see what
But
happens.
also, and getting into the dance attracts other talent coming to you because they're like, there's a vision here. They've been to the playoffs multiple times. Okay, yeah. Let's say the Buccaneers go into the playoffs and they keep it tight. They lose by 3, or they lose by 6, or they lose by 7. Teams are going, if I go there, that ain't gonna be a loss. That's gonna be a win. There's players looking and going, if I go there, I can help change that shit because they're just a pass rusher away. That's how their mindset works.
Right.
So you end up if you turn around and go, we're going into full fucking rebuild mode and we're just gonna get what we can out of it. We're gonna go, oh, that team that won 7 games and that was it, and they did nothing. They just got beat all the time. Yeah, I don't want to go there. They're going to have to pay me a lot of money to go there. And we are still cap strapped anyway. So
right. Do you want to go to a team or stay with a team that's going, hey, let's just tinker around and see what these guys can do? Or do you want to go to or stay on a team that's trying to win?
Who says that Bowles is trying to win? Ben said it best. He plays not to lose. What's going to attract a better team? A free agent out there? Well, wait a minute. If I come to this organization, is Bowles even going to believe in me enough to use my abilities? Oh, what is his direction? So wait, he wants to always keep us in close damn games. Why not?
I agree with. You're ready, AJ. Here's where I agree with you. Okay, when we get a 7-point lead, I don't understand what the deal is, but it's like all of a sudden they go into some defensive, like they play in soccer or hockey, like this. Just protect the lead mode. I agree with you about that. I don't like that. They don't have this, but I don't think the team has the horses. This is where the depth is missing. They don't have the ability to kick it to another gear.
I disagree. They have the gears and they have it. They're not utilizing it. You know why? On offense, when we do get up the score, you know what Canales loves to do? He loves to run the rock for whatever reason, and he takes the momentum and rhythm away from the offense because then that's when we sputter. When's the last time when Arians was here, they weren't always running the ball. When we score 7 points, Arians is like, I want 7 more points.
You understand we got the same record they pretty much had with Arians except for 1 year. You understand this is pretty much the same record that they had with Arians every year except for one of the years.
You mean no, not 2020 and 2021.
No, the first year they were struggling. Remember all the rumors about Brady and Arians not getting along? And then there were all those problems?
But the first now the first year when Arians got here with under Jameis, remember
I'm saying with Brady.
Yeah, the defense was still learning the system, so I cut them some slack. I didn't expect much from the Bucs that 2019 season because they were learning. As you see, though, defensively, they made a stride at the end of the season.
Wait a minute. Why aren't you cutting them slack this year when they're learning Canales' system? Why aren't you going to cut you'll cut slack for Arians, but not with Canales?
Because Canales is not utilizing the best of his abilities. You're not using Godwin enough in the slot. You're not moving people around. There's not enough crossing routes. There's not enough rollouts. He's not playing to Baker's best abilities. Baker's best abilities is not in the pocket. It's outside the pocket. If you're going to run the rock, as we talk about, as we said, Slick said it, where's the play actions? When the
run game's there now.
Good. You know, he ran for over 100 yards again today, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll credit this. The run game is coming along. He said he was going to try and get the ball run. You can see it's coming into fruition. Yes, we played against a team that had some defensive linemen out, so I can understand that could be a little bit inflated. But not only that, they didn't just scrape 100 yards. They got like 150, 60 yards. It was a really good day to run the football today. And if they can continue that, but the problem is it feels like the pass is kind of giving itself away. And that's where I'm like, how does this happen?
Yeah, pass
that's where I think Godwin is not himself. For whatever reason, if you look, he does seem injured, seems like, you saw it happen today. He caught that one pass and was barely getting up.
That's a Baker thing. Baker throws it awkward. If you look at it, every time Baker throws the shit, it's almost as if it's the most difficult, challenging thing for him. Because
how does Mike Evans have so many yards?
Because Evans is that guy, and he's that dog. He's an elite.
And Brady, what? He wasn't with Brady?
He was with Brady, but it was different. There's a reason why gunslingers are better suited for Evans, because they're more risk takers. They throw it in the air where Evans goes and makes something happen. Brady threw it to Evans with precision, and he used Evans more so in red zones or maybe a few deep routes. But Baker goes out of his way and he force feeds Evans. Nothing wrong with that, because Jameis did it. But the difference is Jameis also made big plays running out, and he was a guy who knew how to improvise. That's what Baker does best, in improvisation. When you try to make him a systematic pocket guy, he falls apart. That's why his throws look silly. There was a play, you remember that play in the fourth quarter, guys, where Evans, he had a nice window and he throws to Evans. That's a nice 15 to 20-yard catch. He throws it way off, and even Evans was like, "Bro, where are you throwing at?"
But everybody was bitching about Brady throwing at the receiver's feet just to get rid of the ball too quick. This is the thing, man. It's that way with every quarterback. When you can pick out any quarterback in any game, you're going to find a pass here, there, whatever that doesn't look good. That's a bad pass. The thing is this. The running game, and I've been saying this all year long, it's not always about yards per run. Sometimes at the beginning of the game, it's like a boxer throwing jabs early. You're jabbing, you're jabbing, you're jabbing. You're not seeing the results. You're not seeing the results. All of a sudden, by the end of the game, what are you seeing? You end up with, listen, the run game on that final game-winning drive for the Buccaneers, a lot of it was running.
Yeah.
Rick, real quick about when you're saying Brady's throwing the football to the feet of the player. That's because last year we didn't have Ryan Jensen. Ali Marpet retired. We had a makeshift offensive line. This guy did not want to even get touched. That's why a lot of those balls were hitting the feet. Because he didn't want
I get you, but it's not that different from what it is today. The only difference you got is Cody Mark, and you got rid of Donovan Smith.
Yeah, but Brady's a pocket passer. Mayfield can run out of the pocket.
Exactly. Mayfield is a runner. Mayfield is a runner. That is the whole point that we love him. That's why Rick put me on to him, and I said this would be good. This offense, when Baker runs, when he is mobile, that is his strength. That's why you brought him here. If Baker doesn't do that, then he's useless.
He's not useless. You got to balance that out, because he's also gonna get killed if he does it all the time. He ran one in today. Okay, you don't want him getting knocked out of the game, and then you do end up saying, "Hey, well, let's see what Trask can do." I mean, that's not the position you want to be in.
I still want to see what Trask can do, because the thing is, it's Baker. We've seen his ceiling. We've seen Baker's ceiling. We don't know Trask's ceiling. The thing with Baker, if it's not on point, if everything isn't up to par, he's not the guy in the long term.
And why do they have the same record they had last year with Brady?
Exactly. So right now, Baker's playing like Tom Brady did last year, technically.
Are we now? Look,
I know that may be hard for you to swallow, but
45-year-old versus a 28-year-old. That's not a great comparison. A 45-year-old man. Now, despite being the GOAT, he's still a 45-year-old man, and a 28-year-old man can't just get it up just a little bit better. And again, but
we also have probably the worst offensive coordinator of all time in Byron Leftwich, who is having the imagination.
Oh yeah, that's right, Ben. I was the president of Get Byron the fuck out of here. So that was my campaign. Exactly, Ben. Again, guys, can you imagine if if Brady last year had a competent coordinator? It's the same thing this year, but only the difference is
Brady went to bat for Byron Leftwich. He said he liked him, so
of course he's gonna say that. Again,
he's Tom Brady. He can literally turn around and go, "I want that guy," and they will get it for him.
Well, I agree. AJ, why are you saying? Of course, Brady's gonna say that, but when Mike Evans in the preseason says something, you're like blowing that off, and I'm
not blowing it off. I'm blowing off what the coaches says. My thing is, as a coach, this is again, Ben, and everybody, as a coach, Slick, you know this, you have to give a team direction. If we go in, Ben, if I go in and tell you, hey guys, I don't know how this season's going to be, but we're just going to give it what we got. You're going to look at me as a player, Ben, and go, what the fuck? What are we – if I need to know what we're doing. If we don't have any direction, what am I playing for?
Right, so you don't start tinkering and throwing in a Trask and say, I don't know what we're doing. Let's see how it works out.
But no, it's not tinkering. But what you do go in there is say, hey, Ben, we're going to see what Trask can do. This is why. They don't have film on him. His arm is this way. We're going to work this. We're going this way. And you have to mean it. When Bowles comes out and say something, we don't believe you. That's why Marion Godwin said the shit that Mariah Godwin said, because she said that Bowles has been caught being disingenuous, and it shows. Where are your directions? Now I know what you're saying, Rick. You want us to win, but what is the end game of this? How are we going to win? Are we going to go in aggressive, or are we going to go in and be scared?
I don't care. I don't care how we win. I don't care.
Ben,
I just want to win.
No, but when you play not to lose, you lose typically. We're not going to be playing the Falcons every week. The Falcons—
They've won 3 out of the last 5 games. Yes, they barely lost to the Colts. Yes, they barely lost to the 49ers. I agree with you. But listen, you can only beat who's in front of you. If they win one of the next 2 games, they are probably going to have a winning record.
Listen, Rick, again, don't get us wrong. We love the wins. I'm just saying, you have to look also at the long run, too. I know you don't want to look at that now.
No, sure. I do.
Keeps, being like this. That's what you're going to expect next year.
Well, no, here. You guys want me to rip on Bowles for you? I got one for you.
We're not ripping on. We're just
every time the guy calls for a replay or whatever, he always gets it wrong. No matter what, whether he calls the timeout, it's at the wrong time. If he doesn't call the timeout, he should have. And I'm agreeing with you guys on this, okay? If should he be calling for the replay? Okay, he's going to lose it if he does call for the replay. If he doesn't call for it, everybody's going to bitch and say he should have. I agree with you about the fact that he does seem to, even on the 50-50 shots, he's always wrong.
Yeah, well, again, my issue with Bowles is the direction. How do you want to run this team? Because the way he's running it right now, you're never going to get anywhere. There's no reason.
I think his belief in football right now is he's going to play the high percentage, keep it safe, because he believes that he has a defense that can keep the top on, and they can just stay and they can just stay in the game.
Yep, and unfortunately,
that's what I fundamentally believe. And he's proven that it can work, but it can also be taken advantage of.
And it has been. That's why we are in the position we are in. That's my only issue. It's like, yeah, Bowles, you don't have that salary cap budget that we talk about, so you got to throw that shit out the window. You don't have Sue in them anymore. So this is what adjustment's all about.
Look at what Christopher Cole said. Christopher Cole dropping the knowledge, and he's absolutely 100% correct. The Falcons were playing a too-high shell all game. That's why Evans couldn't get the ball. That's why the passing game wasn't where it was, and that's why the running game eventually came about working.
I said that's a cop-out, because then where were the intermediate routes? Where were the horizontals? Where were the crossing routes? If they were going to play high shell all game, make them pay underneath. More dink and dunks.
We won the game. We ran for 160 yards.
Rick,
we won the game. They made them pay.
On 3rd down, he could have had a 1st down.
But you don't know all right, okay, Ben, do you know the play design? Who's the first read on the play? Tell me who the first read is on the play. If you can't,
leave it. It was always Chris Godwin, right?
So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and Mike might be his 4th read. He's probably going to get twatted before he even gets there. I get where you're coming from, but people seem to think you can go and find the best way. Go and find Patrick Mahomes right now. Go and watch your coach's 22 and go, he was wide open. He was wide open. And you didn't throw to him. He was wide open. There was a touchdown over there. You can do that on any quarterback in any league. It's to do with the reads. You got to go 1, 2, 3, done pop.
No, we get that, Slick, but
you're always going to find an open wide receiver on a play. We get to see it because we see it from an aerial point of view instead of like this.
Evans is your best receiver.
I completely get you, but then you've also got the media telling you got to keep throwing a fucking Chris Godwin at the same time. So what are you going to do? You can't win.
And Godwin didn't get as many targets either. You know, you gotta improvise.
He got a bunch of targets today.
He got a bunch of targets. They just fell on the floor.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to improvise still as a quarterback. Sometimes
Chris Godwin had 5 receptions and he dropped a shit. There's a lot of balls that were on the floor and a lot of balls he dropped.
But I'm talking about
He's
Baker
probably a
Mayfield.
10.
Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? If I see an open guy, I'm going to throw it to. If it's Evans, it's there. If it's not the first read.
But you're making quarterbacks sound like you're just throwing to your mate down the beach. It's not the same thing.
It's not backyard football.
You don't have
everybody go long
defensive linemen who want to eat you.
But why are we seeing? Why is Evans in a lot of games not getting as many targets as a Godwin?
Mike Evans has more targets and more catches and more yards and more touchdowns than he had in any year with Brady.
I think
that's fact. That's just numbers. That's fact.
I think 2021 he had 15 touchdowns under Brady.
No, we're not done with this season.
Yeah, but he barely scraped the 1,000-yard mark.
Yeah, well, that's because he was used as a red zone. We know that situation, but either way, again, I know where Ben's coming from. It's not even that. This is where the mismatch comes up. If the guy's playing 8 yards off of fucking Evans, you just go to that shit right there. That's just hey, let's just go to him right now. He's 8 yards off of Evans. Evans is that guy. Throw it to him. All the other shit is done. And then you can go back to that next play and go, okay, if they switch it up this time, now we can go back to business. That is what Ben is saying. And I'm the same way. You improvise because Brady used to do that at the line of scrimmage. Oh shit, they're doing this. We're gonna switch this up right here.
I think we've pretty much assessed that Baker Mayfield is not Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, no, of course, but sometimes at this point, Slick, that's just common sense football. If I was a quarterback and I see that my best receiver, the guy's 8 yards off him, and I know I can get that shit out real quick.
Mike Evans' best season was in 2021 with 14 touchdowns.
14 touchdowns.
He got 1,035 yards. So Mike Evans has already broken that record in yardage.
No, he had a 1,500-yard season.
Only 2 touchdowns away. Sorry.
He had a 1,500-yard
season. That was under
season.
Jameis Winston. That was under Jameis.
It was when he was young.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about like you're talking about the 15 touchdown game season.
Yeah.
There's not one. Yeah. There's not one.
No, he's got over 10 already.
Yeah, and he still can be utilized the right way, but it's just I know what Ben and I were saying. You still, as a quarterback, Slick, you are still a professional quarterback. You mean to tell me I
completely agree with you, dude, but there's layers to this. It's not like everyone's equal. There are layers. There's a reason he signed a deal for $6 million and not signed a bigger deal.
True.
Yeah, he's a lot of people don't view Baker Mayfield as that good. He is just a cool dude who's got a bit of moxie about him, a bit of attitude.
I like that.
And he's willing to nut up, and we like that because it shows that he gives a shit.
And so far, we've won as much as we did last year. And like I said, if we win one of the next 2 games, we're going to have a better record than we did last year with Tom Brady.
And Rick, I want this. It's not that I don't. We want this. We just don't want to fool ourselves into thinking Bowles is the future of this team. The Blazers still should be out there coach hunting and getting ready.
Let's go down this route. Who do you want as the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Ben Johnson. I would like.
You don't know, right? So you're taking, and this is the thing that irritates me about. And I know you don't do this, AJ. I'm just, he's going to be met with. Well, he's never been a head coach before. The same way as everyone turned around and said Dave Canales has never called plays before. It's like if you're only going to take guys that are proven, you're not going to get anybody.
No, but and why I want Ben Johnson.
But you're taking a risk, taking a guy who's never had control of an entire locker room in his entire career. Never done it.
I agree, and I know what you're saying, but a guy like Ben, he does have experience, and it's the mindset, it's the philosophy that we want. With the kind of receivers you got in Evans and Godwin, you need. And I'm not even.
They lost to Chicago today. They lost to Chicago today. You'd be calling for his head.
No, not at all. Because you know why? I know that won't happen because we do need an offensive-minded guy that's taking risks, that plays to win, as Ben said. We have had coaches. Arians played to win. Bowles plays not to lose. For the most part, if you don't have a 2002 Buccaneers defense. You cannot play not to lose. Because
Arians had a complete. Think of the roster Arians had.
He still had to coach it and use it.
No, I understand that, but you've got a lot more toys. Gosh, why did they score more and have such a killer instinct when they had AB and they had a healthy Godwin and they had
hold on,
Mike
I'm
Evans.
glad you brought that up. We had toys under Dirk Cutter. Do we forget Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, OJ Howard, Cameron Brate?
You're comparing that to AB? What?
No, but the point is, having toys don't mean shit if your coach isn't in command. Dirk Cutter made that shit a fuck fest. It was a shit show. He didn't know what he was doing. Deshaun Jackson was a dickhead to this organization. So my point is, offensively, we had the toys, but as a coach, you have to find the direction. When Arians came to the Buccaneers, he gave us a direction. It was a direction of we're gonna win by any fucking means, and we ain't taking no shit. Bowles is the guy. In a way, he's a less intelligent Dungy. It's, hey guys, we're not gonna lose this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna be this way. Okay, but coach, we got him where we want him. It's 10-0. Let's put pressure on them. No, I think we're going to sit on a 10-0 lead. Coach, it's the first fucking quarter. They can still come back.
Okay, here's where I do agree with you that if you take a 10-point lead in the first quarter, they go into some protect mode that I don't understand, and it bothers me, and I agree with you about that.
It's the percentage, man. When you are a percentage person, this is why sometimes someone who I would take a guy with experience over a percentage guy, because you're projecting shit that hasn't come to pass yet, instead of a man with experience that's going to get out there and know how to adjust when it happens on the fly. Sometimes there are going to be games where assessment is not going to work.
But Dirk Cutter wasn't a percentage guy. He was like, I see football with my own two eyes. I don't call the percentages. So you can argue you need both, really. You need both.
You need both. Yeah, but with this team right now, we don't have the. Remember, when Arians was here, we did have the raw JP2. We had Sue. We had people that were.
Oh, you're proving my point. You were trying to compare it to the toys Cutter had when Arians had Gronkowski, Fournette, AB, healthy Godwin, Mike Evans, Tom Brady, and now you're comparing that to Otten.
No, but the squad that I just mentioned, though, with Deshaun and them, they offensively they were juggernauts, but the direction got fucked up. Because remember, those first two games when we played,
Deshaun wasn't anything at that point. He was done.
Deshaun was still a deep threat guy because he proved it against the Eagles and the Saints. Oh no, we were offensively humming. It's just the simple fact the direction got lost. That's where coaching comes in. You have to know where you're going. I can guarantee you, if I ask Bowles, where are you going? He's going to say what Slick said, and I'm going to go, but what are you going to do if that fails, Bowles? What are you going to do if it's 10-0 and you sit on this lead, and then all of a sudden you see yourself down 21-10? Now what are you going to do? Because your defense got winded and your offense sputtered. Now what are you going to do?
But I think we saw that today, didn't we? We had the lead. We lost the lead. We came back and won.
We came back and won because that's the Falcons. That's not going to happen against.
Who do you want them to beat today?
No, beating today is a good thing. I get that, but we have to look at the long run. How many times have the Bucs beat a team and then we feel good about it? Then the next time when we play a team that's legit, we get our asses stomped.
Let me tell you something. This year, you watch the Facebook feed or you watch all the comments on YouTube or whatever. Nobody ever feels good about anything the Bucs do. The Bucs play great. They make the right decisions. The quarterback has a good game. You're going to bitch about the quarterback. You're going to bitch about the coaching. We did win. I just want to point that out. We did win.
No, we're happy. We want them to win.
I can sense it.
By the way, Rick, it happens with every fan base. It doesn't just happen with the Bucs fan base. It happens with every fan base.
Yes, and I'm happy the Bucs won. Don't get it twisted.
All I'm saying is if you start this train right now and you go down the Ben Johnson road, you could wait 3 years before you get a return on it. Are you willing to because we're in close games, Mike. We're in close games. We haven't been blown out by many people. We're in close games. We're competitive. We're not great, but we're
imagine 75 million more on this roster.
And I'll get to that in a second. With Ben Johnson, he's going to get a little bit more budget. If he doesn't perform, Joe Bucs fans are going to say, get rid of him. He's not winning now. And this is how you end up with what's called a salary deficit, where all of a sudden you're paying 5 head coaches to coach for you, like the fucking Vegas Raiders, who's still paying 2 different coaches right now. Because they go, oh, we got to do the duck thing and get rid of somebody.
No, and I agree with what you're saying, but this is where I feel like it'll be different. Remember when Arians came to us? Again, it's all about a direction, about where you're going and knowing where you're going. You knew eventually with Arians, you knew the direction we wanted to go.
Did you?
I think the same with Ben.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now.
We didn't know when Arians came that we were going to end up with Brady and Gronkowski and AB. We didn't know that.
Nope. And we wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without him. I'll flat out say that.
Agreed.
We won this, even with
listen, man, we won the lottery.
Okay. Two-headed monster of running back. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me that was the best production you ever got out of Ronald Jones for those last 2 years, and he slowly fizzled out. You got Leonard Fournette on the cheap because he got upset with his former team. Tom Brady goes, dude, come here. We're sorting it. If Tom Brady's the key thing out of all of this is Jason Light somehow convinced Tom Brady that this was the place to do.
Yep.
And I don't care what anyone says, that dude sold Tom Brady coming here to get a Super Bowl.
Well, you know why? And this is why I think Ben Johnson would be good.
And that's the difference between Arians and Bowles. Is that you think Todd Bowles can sell Tom Brady to come to Tampa? No. Bruce Arians 100%.
100%. I believe he can.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of coach that Bruce Arians is. You know, he's a no-nonsense guy. He had a direction, not Todd Bowles. I mean, and it helped that.
Hold on. This is about to go way bad for that argument, okay? Because Tom Brady is the reason Todd Bowles is here, and I heard you the other day talking about the fact that basically Tom Brady ran Bruce Arians out of town. So hold on.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, we're not saying that, but at least at that point,
so Todd Bowles could keep Brady around. He did.
Yeah, but look what happened.
Right.
Remember, you had that meme where he says Bruce is going to do his retirement speech. He goes,
yeah, and at that point, but let's be real. After the 2021 season, egos were all over the fucking place in that Bucs organization.
All right, so, I'm going to tell you how he pitched. I'm going to tell you right now how Jason Light pitched, because you're all telling me that it was all Bruce Arians. No, Jason Light and Tom Brady worked in the same fucking building, guys. They know each other.
Oh, I agree.
He's an assistant director of player personnel. He knows Tom Brady like the back of his fucking hand.
Agreed.
And fuck all to do with Bruce Arians.
No, but the roster. I guarantee you this.
But then the GM's got to sell that too.
They didn't have the roster when Brady got there.
Yes, he did. Evans and Godwin were your
AJ's
team.
right, because he still signed the deal before Gronk was coming, before AJ.
You think he didn't know Gronk was coming? You think
he didn't know?
Okay, I think maybe he might have known. Okay, I believe he might have known Gronk was coming. I'll give that.
This is, I guarantee you this. Evans and Godwin is the big deal. Because people forget, despite the shit that people were saying about Winston, Evans and Godwin were both 1,000-yard receivers. Brady probably was like, wow, my job is easier right then and there. And as you said, he probably called Gronk because of Evans and Godwin.
And what did he say? What did Brady say was half the reason or most of the reason he came was the defense?
Yep.
That too.
Todd Bowles defense.
But Todd Bowles was a coordinator. We're not talking about Bowles as a coordinator.
But you're saying he could never get Tom Brady to come somewhere. He did.
No, but
he's talking about the defense. He's talking about JPP, Ndamukong Suh. He's talking about Levante David.
Right, a lot better toys on it during that time.
Right,
and
but
yet we still have the same flipping record.
Bowles is the coordinator, though. The man, the captain of the ship is Arians. I guarantee you this. I can guarantee. Now, this I could be wrong. If Bowles was the coach at that time, Brady would have passed. Brady would have been like, I'll pass.
You technically don't know the answer to that.
The reason why
it depends who your offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I definitely am not going to agree with that because Brady is Brady's the one Brady's the one who ran Arians out of town. Okay, Brady came primarily because of Jason Light. Those guys being in place. You're making a lot of assumptions there, just because he was cooler and more of an offensive guy.
It's
because he shouted at people. That's why people like Bruce Arians, because he shouted at people. Let's be fucking honest.
And he hit Andrew Adams.
He went purple. And he threw bottles of whiskey at people, and he got almost fined because he tried to drag somebody off somebody.
I like dementia Arians. I don't know why nobody else did.
He's there with his bottle of scotch. Mother. Tom, throw the motherfucking ball, you motherfucker.
Well, we like Arians because it was an accountability on and off the field. With Bowles, we get that he does things behind the scenes, but nobody. It's one of those things where it's like Bowles, but
do you understand that's literally what?
AJ, you nailed it. AJ, you just nailed it because what you just said is you said exactly that. Coach Bowles doesn't give a fuck what you think. He's there like, I'm with my boys. This is my team. I'm running it. I don't care that I'm not visually fucking sucking the chode off the media's thing and they go, oh, look at him losing blood pressure on the sideline. He's like, I don't give a fuck about that crap. I'm with my guys, and I can guarantee you, if Coach Bowles walks, Levante David is gone.
Do you guys remember why Tom Brady, what the whole thing came out, that why Arians left and why Brady stayed was that Brady wanted more accountability, and Todd Bowles is the guy who would bring it. That's literally why Brady came back and why Arians left.
I think it was because Tom Brady wanted more control of the
accountability.
offense.
Right. Hey, fellas, but you know what? I'm going to finish this conversation later on. I'm going to get myself together. I got to get up for work, but go Bucs. I'm happy the Bucs won. I want the Bucs to continue to win. I just want to know the direction we are going. Again, you will see a video later pop up. It's about Bucs in time. Check me out on Instagram, AJ Turnup. I love that the Bucs won. My only question I want to know in the future, where are we going? With that, you guys be blessed. Have a good night. And as always, go Bucs.
Go Bucs, brother.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Boys, it's all good fun again. Look, I love chopping at all you guys because everyone has an opinion. No one's right. None of us are in the room, right? That's a fair assessment. None of us in the room. We can just see what the optics state.
This was fun.
Yeah. For sure.
Disagreeing respectfully is fine.
It's so boring to have a conversation where everyone just agrees with each other because it's like, as long as none of us take it as personal, because it's not. It's really not personal. But me personally, within this booking these things, obviously I got to keep my mouth shut because of reasons. And Ben, I will message you why those reasons are. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
There's things in the background, so I've got to be very careful. Rick knows. I'll message you in a bit. But we don't suck, right? We're a little bit spoiled. Is that a fair assessment? We're used to fucking winning all of a sudden.
That's my view about that.
In the ass and enjoying it.
Other than that 3-year run and then the run in the late 90s, early 2000s,
do you remember the bad times?
People complained the whole time we were winning. When we won the Super Bowl, that whole year, people were complaining the entire time. This is a product of social media and people posturing and posing and acting like they know more.
I will tell you, I coach this game at a very low level, so I'm not going to turn around and say I coach fucking mega athletes or anything like that. I still don't know enough, and I've already said this in my assessment. I will let you know. I'll let you know, Ben, in my assessment of what's going to happen, hopefully happen in the future. This sport is ever evolving, and good coaches constantly evolve their approach to the game. That is a straight up fact. If you're going to sit there with your 1982 offense, you are going to get fucked hard. Someone's going to pull your pants down, and they're going to enjoy you. It's straight up what's going to happen because you can't live in that world. That is a great package to have. That's what we're now in a world where you don't run a 45 defense.
Yeah, I know you went to straight. That's a great package right after that analogy.
You know what? It was unintended, but I'm really glad I put it there. And I'm really glad I just said that too.
I'm like Beavis and Butthead. You said package.
The whole package. You know what I'm saying? The whole package.
Yeah, and
enough to make your whole week.
And I like the disagreeing on this stuff because I think everybody's bringing common sense, good points to the table.
Nobody's technically wrong,
right?
Yeah,
it's just what we feel. It's our opinion, it's our feelings. That's how we go. Oh, we could have done this better. I don't like the direction. None of us actually know the direction because we're not in the room. That's a fact. Right? That's straight up fact. I don't know what this. You remember what? The only way you know the direction of a team, you get a better understanding of the direction of a team, is when you watch those. What's it? There's like documentaries. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Oh, like 30 for 30.
30 for 30.
Yeah, and the one that's always played with in preseason. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, Hard Knocks. Yeah.
Hard Knocks. Knock on wood with me. That's the direction. That's part of the shtick. It seems sticky, but you have to have that. Like my team's just come up with theirs. As is going for two. The team that I'm with has won a national championship. We're working for two. Everything is for two.
Yeah.
Find a way to get to two.
Yeah.
That's our entire shtick right now. That we just had our big presentation by our head coach, and he was like, our goal, find a way to two. And if you don't, you're wrong.
Everybody complaining about the Bucs. Think about the Raiders tonight. We thought it was bad that New England lost 6-0 and the Raiders lost 3-0. It's like, I'll take your 6-0. Oh yeah, hold my beer.
The Raiders lost a soccer game.
Vikings 3-0.
Yeah, the Raiders lost to the Vikings 3-0
in soccer.
Yes.
No.
In soccer, a 3-0 win is normality in soccer.
Right. Yeah, that happened today. It was just hilarious because it was 6-0, and we thought I couldn't believe it when the Patriots lost 6-0.
Who traveled to who?
What's that?
Who traveled to who?
Oh, I think it was here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the Raiders lost.
Yeah.
Yep. 3-0.
So
3-0.
And I'm going to put this nicely. That team flew all the way from Minnesota to kick a field goal.
Yeah, pretty much. And with 2 minutes left.
And they replaced.
It was 0-0 until there were 2 minutes left in the game.
Oh my gosh!
And they replaced Nick Mullins in the second half because Dobbs wasn't getting it done.
No, I just want to touch on what Christian McCall has just dropped a little knowledge here.
Yeah.
Look at this. There's going to be few offensive minds out there after Ben Johnson. Johnson is going to be highly sought after. So he's going to have, if he's the man, he's going to have the pick of the jobs. The Buccaneers aren't going to be in on the Ben Johnson thing, especially when you don't have the quarterback. How do you stand on your team?
The one thing I will say is, well, you could end up, oh my God, I can't believe I'm even saying these words, but there's, the rumors and people talk about Mike Tomlin. And if anybody
if it did happen, Mike Tomlin is my guy.
Yes, and I don't want to hear anything about he's not an offensive guy.
I don't give a shit. Think of the full circle. Think of the full circle. That's awesome. That's a great story. Not only that, this guy barely has losing seasons. He knows football.
He's never had a losing season. Never.
Yeah.
What's their record right now?
They're 7-5 right now.
So they're probably going to have a losing season.
No, they're 7-5.
Oh, sorry. I rotated the other way around.
Right.
Okay, there you go. So that being said, I can't see them getting rid of him, but that would be an awesome hire. That would be the standard again. I think
but
he would be highly sought after.
Complain and say, not another defense guy.
Can we turn around and find somebody? Let's go and drag out our old head coach and go, please come to Tampa. Finish my legacy. Be the first coach from my tree to get a Super Bowl.
Well, remember, the Bucs are big game hunters. We've talked about this for head coaches. The Glazers are big game hunters. They love to find the big splash name that's going to sell tickets and get me excited. Who would that be?
Belichick.
It would Dave Canales.
God, please not Belichick. Oh, for the love of God, please.
I'm fucking with you.
Big game hunters.
He's a handsome bloke, though. You have to admit that.
You're correct. That is a very Glazer move, and then you've just sacrificed the next 5 years.
Yep.
You lose Jason Light.
I don't want him.
You lose Jason Light. You just oh my God.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Bill Belichick.
Ironically, Jason Light was with New England. I mean, and then
as long as it's not Bill Belichick, I can live with Light.
Oh, for the
no person should have that much power.
Belichick does.
Exactly. And look where it's got him.
Yep.
It's got him nowhere.
If he comes down here, that's what you will get in Tampa. You'll get a head coach and a GM.
Yep.
All in money.
No, that's what I'm saying. You'll lose Jason Light if you get Belichick.
I will happily pass.
Me too.
I know I like his intensity as a human being. I mean, he did nepotism his son as a safeties coach, and I think that's disgusting, but it is what it is.
Just please no. Please no.
That's the same guy who in the game against us was doing shit like this.
Who's Dallas's offensive coordinator right now?
Oh, that's Mike McCarthy.
It is Mike McCarthy is their coordinator.
I thought you said Micah Parsons for a second. I was like, shit, I mean, he's going to have an OC, but...
Is that what it sounds like in British? Mike McCarthy, Micah Parsons.
It's just that fit Vegas accent. That's what it is. I live on an island where there's 15 different accents if you only drive 10 miles of each other. You think my accent's bad? We were taking the piss out of our head coach because he couldn't say wrong properly. He's going, "You're wrong." We're like, "What are you saying? You're wrong." What the fuck is he saying? Find a way.
Where's Flick's from? They can tell what block you're from based on the accent.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like that. England is so odd in the sense we're a small island. We have Welsh, we have Scottish, we have English, and that's not really classification because
there's Cockney and
exactly. So you got Cockney, you've got the Brummie accent where they talk slow when they talk like this. How am you, Bab? Hey, Rick, you're a lovely guy.
See, that sounds more Long Island and stuff. Long Island.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Long Island.
I personally think I sound I personally think I'm well elocuted, I guess. I don't know. So anyone can please fill me in and say, no, Slick, you sound like shit. That's absolutely fine.
You just said elocuted, and that's pretty good for a former football player.
You know what? I take pride in my elocution, Honestly, the best thing I've ever heard, the best compliment I've had everywhere I've gone is, listen to Coach Slick, the way he breaks down plays is so elocuted. I'm like, what? What the fuck? Who wants to suck me off first?
Oh.
Well, that probably wasn't a good... Yeah, there's that line we just went past.
No, I think that's British humor, basically. It was lost in translation. That's what it was.
No, get over it. But listen, guys. And I'm going to let you go. But I wanted to. I enjoyed this a lot. And let me say this: the game today. God, guys, this is the time to be happy and to say, "Hey, listen, we're turning things around. We are getting better. Look at our running game. There are signs. Things are looking positive. there are things like if we did have that $75 million, there are things that are bright spots and signs of things getting better. I'm just, man, let's stop just always saying, oh, you got to abandon ship. You got to get rid of the quarterback, get rid of the head coach, start over. God, I'm so sick of hearing that. And
I agree.
I mean, balance it all out. If we end up 9-8, you'd better freaking keep Todd Bowles.
I agree. I genuinely agree. Because you need to see the sample size, and I think giving this guy 2 years, and Rick, you did a great job of breaking down the money. And yeah, people can mock it and people can take piss out of it. It doesn't matter. If you can get yourself a Yannick Ngakoue, you can go and get yourself this person. Insert name here, right? This offense on paper only have we got 2 good wide receivers, we really do, and we got a guy who's emerging. We didn't know he was going to be as good as he is right now. We didn't know that. That was a risk. The Buccaneers took it, and it paid off. But a lot of teams go and pay for a guy to do that job. And we did. There's a guy on our roster who hasn't played for this team very much. I don't think he'll play for this team at all. I can't remember his fucking name because it's been so fucking long.
From Atlanta.
Yeah. I know who you mean. I just can't remember his name. I'm like, literally, what's his name? Sorry? Ryan Gage.
Yeah.
There you go. He's alive. He's not dead.
Yeah, and if Russell Gage was normal Russell Gage, things would be different. And this is what Todd Bowles has been dealt. And I think that's what I say about when
I want to give him that full season, like you said.
$75 million. You brush it off and you say, yeah, whatever, I'm tired of hearing about that. Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that you're missing that on the field. And that's a big deal. And they're still producing. And and you might not want to say they're producing, but they're 6-7. They're 1 game below 500. They're
still
keeping the NFC right
now. Ben, I'm going to ask you this because I think it's fair because I think me and Rick are on the same page, and I know you're not. So I want to ask you this: would you say the Buccaneers are competitive?
I would say they're competitive.
Okay.
I just don't like the long-term direction that it will lead to.
But the long-term direction takes time.
It takes time, but when you feel like you don't think it's going to improve, I'll be honest with you. I don't see Todd Bowles improving as a head coach.
I do. Offensively, defensively, yes. Offensively, it's going to take the offensive coordinator.
Right.
And I don't know who got the right offensive coordinator.
But you know what division we're in, too. We have 3 other teams, 2 teams that have the same record as we do, and they're not very good either. And so it's kind of misleading in a way that we think that Bulls can turn around. Well, it's easy to do that in a division like we have. When you're seeing teams like Carolina is still in a rebuild, New Orleans is on the downhill slide, Atlanta's really neutral. I mean, so it is a little misleading.
Yeah, I think actually personally it's a bang-on facet because if you look at the end of the season and you turn around and go, right, okay, Coach Bowles, you went against in your last 4 slate of games, you went against a team that was dog shit. We can all attest that Carolina's shit, and it's worth taking a big ass dump on it. But then you've got 3 of it. You've got a winning team. And then you've got 2 teams that have the same record as us. So then you're like, what did you do when your back was against the wall or played against teams at your level? And if you can convert those,
competition. That's one of the problems with the Bucs. Sometimes they play up to their competition. No matter
I'm not going to disagree with that.
You guys, I want you to think about something, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Guys, think about this. You got Philadelphia right now. They have the best. Them and San Francisco, or well, I guess depending on Philly's record tonight, whether Philly wins or loses tonight, doesn't look good. But if Philly, they're 10-2 right now. San Francisco's 10-3. Dallas is 9-3. They'll probably all be 10-3 at the end of the night. Then you have Detroit at 9-4. Minnesota is at 7-6. Think about that. Green Bay hasn't played yet. They're either going to be 7-6 or 6-7, just like Tampa, which is next, 6-7.
Mm-hmm.
That's how high up in the NFC the Buccaneers are. So while we're trashing this division, understand
We're not that far off. We're not far off.
no,
We really aren't.
they're number 7 in the conference. And we're saying, I don't like the direction this is going. Well, you want to swap with any of those other teams?
Not long term, Rick. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but your long term is going to hit on because you got to remember, like, I'm Rick. I'm going to echo what you always say. When you're in a deficit, you can't sign anybody. Who was our best free agent? Tell me who our best free agent was.
During which since Bulls became
this year. Filer or Ryan Neal?
I'll probably Baker Mayfield.
Mayfield. So we signed a guy for $6 million, and you're telling me we should be better than everyone. For $6 million, dude. $6 million, and you're telling me we should be better. $6 million.
How many quarterbacks were more highly sought after than Baker?
$6 million, which is fucking nothing in the NFL. There are guys playing for a lot more money that aren't quarterbacks, getting more money than him. And you're going, well, we're underperforming. No wonder we're underperforming. We can't pay a quarterback yet.
I didn't say we were underperforming. I said we are competitive. But it's
okay.
a lot of it's
so you're happy with the situation.
Better than we are is because of the coaching.
Well, I think Canales, this is Canales' first year. And would you agree that our offense is getting better?
In the past few weeks, I would say yes.
So we're trending in the right direction there. And if our offense continues to trend in that direction, and you look in the future next year where we got more money we can spend, where we're in a better situation, and then years ahead where it gets, we're out of debt in essence, and we can start to really play ball like everybody else. I don't see us not trending in the right direction.
You think Todd Bowles is that guy though, Rick? I don't.
I'm going to give you my honest answer, Ben. I don't know. I don't know because he's not been given an honest assessment of what he can do because he's had one arm tied behind the back.
Right.
It's like turning around and someone saying, how good are you making decisions if you got a gun against your head and they're saying they're going to kill your entire family? But how good are you going to be? Like, whatever decision you make could go wrong. And it's like, A will kill your family, B will kill your family, but C will save your family. And they'll go, which question do you want? And you're like, I don't fucking know.
It's literally like it's like boxing with one arm tied behind your back. It really is like that. That's where he's at. And then everybody's going, well, why isn't he doing better? Listen, if this team goes 9-8 and wins the division, and then you want to replace him, something's wrong.
Ben, I think a fair assessment. Everyone here, what did you think the Buccaneers' your opinion of where the Buccaneers were going to end up in their win-loss column?
Oh, I had this team 9-8 range.
So if the Buccaneers go 9-8, you're going to be happy because they hit your expectation.
They did, but I'm looking at this team right now. Like we were also 3-1.
Okay, so you're a fair assessment. They're not away from that yet. They can still lose a game and win the next 3.
True. But
so you can't make an opinion saying this team sucks because it hasn't come into full.
No, he said they're competitive. He didn't say they suck.
I said they are competitive, Slick. But we were also 3-1.
I drink too much.
That's okay, but we were also 3-1. We were also 3-1.
I've only just watched the game. I only watched the game about like an hour, 2 hours ago, because I was out drinking.
It's okay. We love when you drink. No,
no, because you'll mock me and my dodgy accent.
Well, that's okay. No, look, but you also got to remember.
You're always nice to me.
If Todd Bowles was a first-time head coach, I could be more understanding. But I know he was with the Jets, but he was still a head coach there.
But don't discount what you just said, though. Don't blow it off like it doesn't matter. I mean, when you're literally, nobody has been successful there. That's like saying, well, you're the head coach of the Panthers. Why didn't you succeed? Well,
still, he was 10-6 his first year with the Jets. Let's remember that he was 10-6. They almost made the playoffs that year.
Whose point are you arguing?
Arguing mine.
Guys, let's make this easy. What year was that the Jets went and did what they did? 2015?
They were 10-6. 2016, 17, and 18, they were 5-11.
Okay. I'm gonna do one thing and go key departures because that's big for me. So their Pro Bowlers were Brandon Marshall, Darrell Revis, which is fucking huge, Mohamed Wilkerson, and Nick Marigold and Chris Ivory. Wow, fair play to Chris Ivory. I always want to give people who do not get recognition their shit. He then goes 5-11, right? His only Pro Bowler is Leonard Williams. Let's have a look. Who was his team? And were those people that won all these Pro Bowls the year before still there? The answer is Brandon Marshall would.
Revis came to the Bucs, didn't he?
Sorry?
Didn't Revis come to the Bucs?
Yeah, 2013. Then he went back to
the Jets. It's before that.
Oh, that's right. He was done by then. That's what it was. He was done by the time he was
Darrell Revis was still on the team, according to this.
Or back on the team.
Oh, back on the team. Yeah, he was a Pro Bowler in the year before anyway, so.
Right.
So Mohamed Wilkerson was still there as well. They just did not succeed.
What about offense? What about the offense? I mean,
so their quarterback was Ryan Fitzpatrick. So that fills you with fucking loads of company. I love the guy. I think he's awesome as a media personality.
Right.
Chris Ivory was not on the team. He's gone. So their running game went to Brandon Burks, Bial Paul, and Brandon Wilds. Never heard of any three of those guys, personally. Roby Anderson, Quinn. I'm not going to pronounce people's names from.
There's a bunch of no name on the offense.
Brandon Marshall was their dude,
right?
Basically.
From Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Nobody. Austin Safarian Jenkins. We all know that name. So yeah, they had a bit of a shift in personality. I don't know how good they were on defense, but one thing that everyone said, and we know this in broadcast, and I don't know if that's just sucking the cock, but Coach Bowles is synonymous with good defensive football, good sound defensive football. That's a fact. No one's going to argue left, right, and center. They wouldn't put it in a broadcast for no reason. It's there for a reason.
Yeah, and the Jets in those years, though, did have pretty good defenses. They always had good defense.
They did. Who were their offensive coordinator, though? That's a real good question.
But see, that's
who I want.
But that's with Todd Bowles. That's because he's the head coach. He's like the administrator. So he hires.
Yeah. No, he's not, because that's the GM.
No, I get it. He's the on-field administrator.
Responsibility.
He's the on-field administrator. I get what he's saying. But the thing is, okay, listen. If we're gonna replace Todd Bowles, I'll give you the only names I'm really even remotely.
Ken Gailey was the offensive coordinator. Thomas Chandler Gailey Jr. I'm going to see what he's doing. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah,
he is currently the offensive coordinator. No, sorry, he's no longer in football.
Right. He head coach. Wasn't he in Dallas or something briefly?
Okay, just to break it down nice and quick. He was the Pittsburgh Steelers receivers coach. He was the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Dallas head coach.
Right, that's what I remember.
Up there. Miami Dolphins coordinator, Georgia Tech head coach, Kansas City Chiefs coordinator, and the Buffalo Bills head coach, and then he was the New York Jets offensive coordinator. So I think Coach Bowles was trying to go for a guy who was tried and tested at that point.
Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you've got to get rid of Bowles, and I just don't understand it, if you end up at 9-8 and winning the division, and you decide, I don't like the direction this team's going in, I'm just, oh my God. I
If
have no
my
hope.
team, I'm going to put it simple. The level of football that I coach in, and I'm going to do myself a disservice here because I don't give a shit. I'm going to just say it as it is. If the level of my coaching, I'd watch my head coach who coached for 5 weeks. I'm trying to remember the team's name because it is insanely stupid. Oshkosh, does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Yes. So Oshkosh are a Division 3 college football team in Wisconsin. He got to guest spot for 5 weeks as an offensive line assistant. And what he came back with was leaps and bounds that anyone in our team has ever seen. Just by going there for 5 weeks. So I'm gonna do myself a disservice here because I don't give a shit. The level of coaching in the NFL is so fucking high. None of us normal human beings can actually turn around and go, he doesn't know how to coach. I'm going to say that because I can't say that.
No, I
honestly
you're right.
can't say that. You know, when people say, oh, he's a fraud, he doesn't know he's got his job. And no, trust me, there's no frauds in the NFL. There's no, unless you're Bill Belichick's son. I guess that's the only way. Well, I mean, it happens.
But the thing is, you got a couple of guys out there who probably do deserve a crack at the head coaching job. What's his name? I've got Jeff Tedford's name stuck in my head. What's the guy's name in Washington or Baltimore? The offensive coordinator was here previously. Who? Yeah, Todd Monken. Todd Monken. I'd be happy with him, but he's not going to sell tickets, and they're not going to go for somebody who's not going to sell tickets.
And that's an absolute shame because I couldn't give a fuck about tickets. I want to win.
No, I agree. But if we're 9-8 and we win the division, we won.
Build us.
Yeah. If we're 9-8, we win the division, we won. We improved. We won. We did it with the salary cap constraints and the injuries and stuff that we've dealt with. And
I want to see more. Then that's when I'm going to go the AJ mode and go right, Bowles. Now you have more money. I don't want excuses. You did a good job. You did a decent job. Now you got to do a good job. Now you got to do a solid job because the pressure's on. I can tell. Right, if you get rid of Coach Bowles right now, you're going to go for a Ben Johnson or you're going to go whoever you can go. Let's say you get hold of Ben Johnson. It's going to take Ben Johnson 2 to 3 years max. At minimum to turn this around. So we're going 3 years. If Coach Bowles lays an egg and is dog shit next year, you still can go and get that guy. And if anything, you get to have a look at other guys that are out there that can do the job too. It's like looking at the quarterback market when you're in college. Some years, no one's the dude, and you just know that they're not going to be the dude. Look at the year that Mike Evans joined the league. Who was the quarterback? Can someone name me the quarterback from Mike Evans' draft class? No one.
Josh Freeman?
No. From Mike Evans
was on that team, and Mike Glennon was on that team.
Okay, Glennon.
Evans' rookie year was McCown and Glennon.
That's my point. It's people like that. So it's not even Mike Glennon because Mike Glennon was drafted in 2012, I believe. Not 2013.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about when Evans came into the league.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
In his draft class, who was the quarterback?
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel, yeah.
Where's Johnny Manziel today?
Right.
Exactly. So sometimes you gotta play what's in front of you, and you gotta go, okay, this year for quarterback, I'm not feeling it. I'll skip. And I'm just going to load the talent around me. Like you always say, I'm going to draft down. I'm going to take that pick, and I'm going to get more picks because if I can get an extra third round guy or an extra second round guy, that's other guy that can start tomorrow or start within the framework of my season, and then the year after that, if we're not improving, then I'm going to go and get that quarterback. Then I'm going to go and make that effort. I'm not going to go and throw the fucking toys out of the pram to go and get a quarterback that I don't believe in and I'm not sure about. And let's face it, we don't know who's good. Like, we can all turn. Everyone was telling me Caleb Williams is that dude. Right now, I think he's a fucking pussy. That guy needs a fucking tampon installed up his ass because he needs to cry to his mom every fucking time he loses. That's not going to work in the NFL. This is the NFL, dude. Like, fucking wake the fuck up. This isn't the fucking Pac-12 where you can cry to your mom. Fans want your blood.
Listen,
hey, AJ. Hey, Blake, I said I got to go. I said it a while ago. I've got to run.
Yeah, go.
Sorry. You guys have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on the Aftermath tomorrow.
Yeah, but Aftermath's on. Aftermath's definitely on.
I'll be there tomorrow night.
All right, man. I'll catch you soon.
Have a great night.
Much love.
Take care, man.
Back at you.
Oh, I'm on fucking full screen. I don't like that shit. Scares the crap.
Put it on there.
Ben, it's been so long. I've been meaning to message you. Message you about basketball. That's the best I can do. My little boy started to get into it, so
nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So I was kind of like, he's getting into it. I said to him, you got three choices. American football's not really a choice until you become a teenager in my country. Okay. So basketball, rugby, and soccer are basically the three main sports for a little boy. Okay. He's 5. So he's like, I'll play basketball. I was like, awesome. So I've decided that I will try and get into basketball to like enjoy it with him so we can play together. We're getting a little hoop outside the house and that kind of crap. So I say crap, but have some fun together and stuff. So appreciate everything you're going. I will nag the fuck out of you about fucking fouls and stuff because I have no fucking idea. So I love you to pieces for anything you give me.
Sounds good, man. Anytime, dude. Message me, man.
I know, man. You've always been there for me. But I just want to talk about like, what are your expectations of this team right now? Like, what's your like bottom line and what's your high line?
Well, I mean, the high line would be winning the division. Because I feel this team is good enough to do that. We have a defense. We're competitive. When I say, with Bulls, I just, sometimes you got to go by feel.
It's a feeling. Is it a feeling?
Feeling, that doesn't mean I'm going to be right.
No, and there's nothing wrong with being wrong because you learn from being wrong. I never say you. I said to my little girl the other day, and she's like, I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that, and I was like, oh, okay. She said, oh, Daddy, I failed, and I'm like, so? She says, yeah, but I failed, and I'm like, did you learn from it though? Like, what did you fail at? And she was like, oh, I failed to mix this color with this color. Look, we're talking little kids here, yeah. Right. And he was like, so I failed to do this, and it did that, and I'm like, but you've learned not to do that ever again, because you're like, if I mix, for the sake of argument, red and yellow, I'm going to get orange. And if I don't want orange, I need to mix a different color. So you're going to learn from that, and you're going to ask people that for their experience. You're going to say to me, Daddy, I want to make pink. Okay. So what colors do I mix? And I was like, what colors do you think work? I think red. So what do you mix it with? What does pink remind you of? And she went, oh, it's like a soft red. So what makes red softer? White. There you go. You've already learned it yourself, and that's where I'm at with this. I'm a firm believer is failure's a good way of learning. I didn't learn how to be a coach because I was surrounded by fucking really talented coaches. I learned because I was around some idiots, and I had some good coaches as well, of course. But I learned how not to coach, and that's honestly the biggest compliment I ever had was when I went with this new team, the Sandwell Steelers. The head coach went, I was really surprised you could coach as well as you did. I was like, because you come from such a shit team. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I really didn't think you were going to be that good. And I was like, okay. This is like the worst backhanded compliment I've ever had. But at the same time, it's like, I get it because I know where he's coming from. I know the people who coach me.
What do you want them to say? Well, we're looking at you. We found a diamond in a piece of shit.
Exactly, and that's it. That's his stick. He's turned around when I was lucky enough to find a bunch of guys that want to be a part of it, that were interested, that came from poor teams, that wanted more and put more into my team. He's not wrong. He's not fucking lying, and that's the way I always look at it. So, no one's wrong, and in coaching, there's a million different ways to skin a cat, and I mean that in the sense of like, there's a million different ways to beat an offense. There's a million different ways to beat a defense. It's the issue is it's your way, and is your way successful?
Right.
I say every team meeting I ever have, I say to my guys, we're running I'm going to just be generic here. We're running a Tampa 2 4-3, and that's our system. And I will always say this: that system, up and down the country, will win championships. That system across America is winning national championships as a package. It's winning championships as a high school scheme. It's winning junior champion. It's winning the lot. But you know what else it's doing? It's also doomed to fucking fail. There are teams out there with the same system that haven't won a game. And they have the exact same system that we're running. Do you know what the difference is? It's you and it's me. And it's what we get out of the system. That's how I coach. So that's why I'm always hesitant to put blame on coaches because I'm not in the room. Because it's the coaching hat. I put my coach hat on and I'm like, I'm not in the room. I can't judge because I don't know. I can only see the on-field product. And sometimes, the on-field product, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just generally not. But there are times where I'm like, but we don't know. We don't actually know what it is. And there are people out there who think they know because there's an ego thing in football, and it's in every sport. It's probably in basketball. It's probably in soccer. It's probably in fucking baseball, where couch fans want to think they know everything about a scheme. I don't even know the fucking ins and out of my own scheme because there's so much more to learn because football's so much more fluid than people think. And sports in general is the same way. That's why it's so fucking competitive. Because there's 100 different ways to run one scheme. There's 151 ways to run the shittest scheme in the world. And someone might win with it. That's mad, but it will happen. But Ben, I will message you the stuff that I've got going on. Actually, fuck it, I'll let you know. I've officially applied for the NFL Coaching Academy in Tampa.
Congratulations, dude! Nice.
And I've made my first assessment, so they're kind of interested. Is the way they've asked me to watch film, grade it, and that kind of thing. So I'm waiting to hear back from Tampa.
Okay.
If they'll bring me in. I don't know if you've seen it in the broadcast because in their broadcast they've talked about it.
I actually haven't, but yeah, I will look at it definitely, man. But that's good for you, man.
Hey, cool, you never know. Hey, one day we'll get to finally meet because I would love to meet you, brother.
I'd love to meet you too, bro. I mean,
but I know you're like the opposite side of the country, so I mean, it's not Tampa, is it? It's the other side.
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
It's still good fun though, bro. Yes. Much appreciated. And guys, go check out everything Ben's. He's got Face the Heels. He's got Buck with Ben. I don't even know if I can keep up with the shows. Ben, do you want to bring them out?
Yeah, let me real quickly. Slick, I've been really busy these past few months with work and other stuff, outside of this. So there hasn't been as many shows that I've been doing. I will bring the wrestling show back and my other shows back soon. Just got to find the time and the scheduling. But I do a show every week called Ben's Quick Picks on YouTube. It's every Wednesday nights. I pick every game for each week, who I think will win and everything. So check that out. It's on my YouTube channel at Ben Cornett 9015. And also I have a show called Have At It every Friday night. Slick, you've been on there before. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. American Pacific time. So check that out too. So yeah, my YouTube channel is Ben Cornett 9015.
Awesome, man. I mean, look, I miss you. We haven't spoken in, I think it feels like a good month or two. But it's just great to have you back, man. I love it. And everything you do, like the amount of work that you put in, like never think that's not enough, because you put so much work in, like Face the Heels.
Yeah.
You got your own book with Ben, and then you got your own like kind of like just genuine opinion show, and then you kind of like a little bit of gambling your picks and stuff like that, and I know you segue into other people's shows like this one, and like NFL Edition. So I know you're a very busy human being. So I appreciate you coming on, and it's been a while, but I've enjoyed it, man.
Oh, hey, I appreciate you having me on. You and AJ are still kicking ass each and every week, and just keep doing
that was the most we've argued this year. So I like it. I like debate. I love logic, and I love people who like. I'm like, oh yeah. Like AJ's had me at one point. I've been like, we need to do this, and I watched the game and I was like this on it, and he was like, yeah, but what about this, and this, and he'll change my mind, and then the next time we'll see each other, and he'll be like, guys, like I watched the game, we were this, and this, and I'll be like, no, it's this, and he'll come back to me, and it's like I love the fact that we can talk each other off a ledge. Occasionally we don't, and we just and we agree to disagree, but that's what makes it beautiful.
That's what it's all about, dude. Just being respectful and listening. That's the biggest key, is to listen. And if you don't listen enough, then you're not going to learn enough.
No, and no one's in this world, the world that we're in right now, none of us are technically wrong unless we're in the room. We're in the rooms that they're talking about. We can turn around and go, oh, actually, we do this because of X, Y, and Z. And you can give facts. But we don't know. We're just bearing our hearts and bearing our opinion about what we're seeing on the field, the product, and what we like out of a team. Some people want everyone accountable. Some teams want a really angry head coach. Some people want the passive guy that doesn't push anyone. But we figure a way out, and we figure what we think as a team, as a unit, and we make our points, and it's beautiful.
Exactly. Well said, man. Well said.
A pleasure. I will message you soon about what's going on, and miss you, man. Appreciate you coming on, and I'll catch you soon.
All right, Slick. Have a good night, man. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining in. It has been a fun one. I literally just came from a coaching convention with my with the coaching staff of my team, and literally just watched the game and jumped into this. So loving it. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Bucs are me. Bucs are free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs.